It's the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sametti. The YouTube how you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined today by a very special guest, Mark Middleton. How's it going?
It's going good, man. I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah, it's been a little while, I'd say, since you last came on. Good to have you back on. So it's cool to check out progress of campaigns.
I'm glad to be here, man. I really appreciate you having me on.
No problem. Especially, it helps that I like your product. Excuse me. We need to get more backers. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Grave Robber sounds like a cool project, and I'm sure you've been very, very busy with it as of late. And but before we get back into it, as you may recall, I'm a big proponent of like digging into the backstory, the quote unquote origin story of creators. And I love it if you'd share with the audience, what were the things you were into when you were younger? Were you into comics, cartoons, toys, movies, music? And what were the key milestones in your life that led you down this path to becoming this crowdfunding creator?
Sure. Yeah, when I was a little kid, I got into X-Men comics because of the cartoon in the early 90s. That was a huge influence on me, actually. That and the Spider-Man cartoon and, the whole Marvel lineup back then, really was big. And the same with the Ninja Turtles. I was a quintessential 90s kid. Everybody loved, Pog's Ninja Turtles, Super Mario World, Sonic the Hedgehog, stuff like that. What I think really helped me, though, the things, obviously all of this was, pretty influential, but the big thing was my dad's taste in movies was a huge influence on me. My dad he liked Westerns. He liked, he liked horror movies and stuff like that. And a lot of movies I probably shouldn't have been watching at, like 8, I think I was 8 years old when Pulp Fiction came out. And, that was definitely a movie I probably shouldn't have been watching. But, my dad was, my mom worked nights and she wasn't there to tell him no. So, he pops in the VHS tape and, we would watch stuff like Darkman and, the Aliens franchise and, man, just so many. Darkman was actually pretty much anything by Sam Raimi was a pretty huge influence on me then.
That was a pretty decent movie, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's one of those movies you don't think about or hear about much anymore, Darkman.
Yeah.
But it was a solid movie. It's actually I think, honestly, it's probably one of Liam Neeson's best movies. So,
I enjoy Liam Neeson as an actor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got a lot of great movies. The Gray, he was phenomenal as Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Oh man, obviously the I can't remember the name of the movies. The one where his daughter's kidnapped.
Taken.
Yeah, it's he's got so many movies that that he's just phenomenal in that it's hard to narrow it down. But Darkman is definitely one of my favorite Liam Neeson movies.
I also like maybe it's more of a guilty pleasure, but I really enjoy him in the Star Wars prequel.
Phantom Menace. Yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn. I forgot. I actually forgot. I haven't watched those movies in so long.
I want to watch them, and I just love them so much.
Yeah, He was he was phenomenal as Qui-Gon, man. I think he was one of the more underrated parts of that movie. Darth Maul was badass too.
Yeah, I would love to see them do a spin-off of Qui-Gon, or I thought it would be cool if he could have survived through episodes 2 and 3. But
I would have liked to have seen that, because I thought he was such a strong character, that it was a shame to lose him, at the end of episode 1. But
yeah, but in the short period he had, he was so badass, because like when they were trying to organize a treaty with the separatists, and they were on the spacecraft, and they closed the doors and started filling it up with gas.
Right.
And that whole scene, all the way down to when they were trying to get to the who are they? The guys that sound like Japanese.
Oh, the Gungans?
Yeah, no, the guys who sound like Japanese businessmen.
Oh yeah, the trade guys. I can't remember their names.
Yeah, like the Trade Federation people.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of that specific race.
And you see
the Moidians. That's it.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. I don't know why I know that.
Well, you know it better than I do. But he held his own, and when you saw him plunge his saber through that thick metal locked wall,
yeah,
that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I was 12, about maybe a little younger than 12 when that came out, and I remember sitting in the theater just in awe when he threw that lightsaber, like he just puts it right into the center of that blast door. I was like, holy shit, that's cool. That is so cool. It made me want a lightsaber. I grew up, on the first 3, when I was really young, and the N64 games, Shadow of the Empire.
I forgot about that game.
Yeah, I haven't played that game in probably 20 years.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Shadow of the Empire a Nintendo 64 exclusive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was exclusive.
They never. I don't think they ever ported it to computer.
I don't know, actually. I'd have to look. I don't think they did. I don't think they did. There may have been somebody that that ripped it off of an N64 cartridge. But
I've always been kind of curious about that game, because I enjoy Star Wars games, and did you play a lot of the Star Wars games?
Oh yeah. I played the Super Nintendo games when I was really, really young. The Super Star Wars, Super Empire Strikes Back, and Super Return of the Jedi.
Now, why did they call them Super? Did they add more content?
No, it was because they were on the Super Nintendo. Everything was super. Super Metroid, Super Castlevania.
Okay.
It was all super. Just like when everything was on the 64, it became Mario 64, Star Fox 64, Pilot Wing 64.
All right.
Yeah, I think they did that with the Wii too. Now that I think about it, I don't know if they did it with the GameCube. I couldn't imagine them being like Mario GameCube, but they definitely had. I'm pretty sure they had like Super Mario Wii or something like that. I'd have to look, but I bet they did. I remember being a kid and being like, "Oh, it's super. That means it's good." I realized it's a whole marketing device.
Well, I never got any Nintendo consoles past the 8-bit console, the NES.
Oh, okay.
With Robbie the Robot.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I haven't thought about Robbie the Robot in a long time.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool thing, but at the same time, they didn't put enough effort into it, and they only had like 2 or 3 games for them.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Super Nintendo Star Wars games they were hard as hell. They're still really hard, actually. I still have a Super Nintendo.
Oh, nice.
And I have the first 2 Star Wars games, Super Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. But they are hard as hell. I've played those. I actually picked up Empire maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I was just in a used video game store and I saw it. So I picked it up and I brought it home and I tried to play through it because I was like, oh yeah, I'll just play through Super Star Wars and then I'll go right on to Super Empire. It'll be fine. I think I spent 20 minutes playing Super Star Wars before I was like, you know what, this is bullshit. This game is way too hard. Like I remember being a kid and just being like, yeah, okay, this is how you do it, and you just fly right through it, and that's the game. And now I'm just like, how did I get this bad at this game? I used to be good at this stuff. It's the same thing with Sonic the Hedgehog. I used to love that game. I'd breeze through that like nothing.
Really?
And now, I could probably play through the first couple of zones. But for some reason I just can't. I tried, because I still have a Genesis too. But
really?
I have from the original NES, I have that all the way up to the PS4. I have all of those consoles still. So I've got like the NES, the 64. I've got GameCube, Switch, Wii. I actually don't have the Wii U now that I think about it. But
you used to have it though?
I'm sorry.
You used to have it though?
The Wii U?
Yeah.
No. I never actually got one. I wanted to get one, but we had the Wii, and then the Wii U came out, and we were like, oh well, you know what? Well, we still got a lot of these Wii games, so we just never got around to it. And then the Switch came out. My wife was so excited for the Switch that I ended up buying one for her on Amazon so that it could be here like the day it launched.
Whoa.
And she was so excited. And admittedly, after playing it for a little while, I got into it too. But
You scored big points that day.
oh yeah, she still plays that thing like at least 2 or 3 hours a day. She loves that thing like a lot. I think she might like it actually a lot more than me. But it's cool. I get silence for 2 or 3 hours a day.
I was going to ask you if you happen to end up playing a lot of 2-player games together, because the thing about the Wii, just as the Wii U, the controllers are kind of designed so that there's a lot of portability, so you can play action type games and kind of go through the motions as though you're actively playing the sport or something.
It's actually pretty cool. Yeah. We actually ended up buying a second Switch because, I actually ended up liking it quite a bit. So she wanted the Animal Crossing. They released the special Animal Crossing Switch.
Oh, did they?
She was super excited about that. I bought her Animal Crossing, and she was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like it. I've never played these games before. And the day that she got it, she played it for the rest of the day. And then for about a week after that, her nose was like 3 inches away from her Switch every day for like, it was like a solid month. She played that thing literally every day.
Whoa.
So yeah, she really liked it. So when they announced that they were doing like a Switch one, like an actual Switch themed one,
yeah,
she was so excited, but she was afraid that I would be offended if she got one. So she didn't want to like just throw away my Switch. So she's like, well, what if I got this Switch and then I give you the Switch that you got me? I was like, all right, yeah, fine, whatever. That's she was really, really excited about it. So it's hard to say no. I mean, so it's cool. I ended up picking up some cool games. They got a game called Valferris that reminds me of like early I want to say early Super Nintendo games, and
really?
It's super hard. I really like it a lot. It's a solid game, but it is pretty difficult. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like the 80s version of what space would be if you mixed it with metal music. That's basically what the game is. It's pretty cool. It's a cool game. It's just really, really difficult. It's a great game. I definitely, if anybody's watching and they're on the fence on what to play on the Switch, Valferris is definitely a good pickup.
What style of game is it?
It's like a Metroidvania kind of side scroller kind of game.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's definitely really it's not easy though. It amps up the difficulty pretty good. It'll definitely give you some time. You got to play through each level a couple of times before you figure it out.
Can you play 2-player with a single Switch, or do you actually have to have a whole second Switch system?
It depends on the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Well, when we first got it, one of the first games we got was Mario Kart Switch. I don't know if that's actually the name of it, but whatever the Switch game was for Mario Kart.
Right.
And you just take the controllers off of the side, you put it into the console. Actually, you don't even have to put it into the console. That's the cool thing. You can take it and leave it in the console so you can play it on the TV. But if you're out someplace, like we have a bar that we go to, like a brewery that we go to every now and again, called Star City Brewing, and it's a cool little place that we hang out. And we would take the Switch there on occasion, and it has a little kickstand, so you can take the sides off and then pop the kickstand off and lean it, and then watch. Like, you just sit it on the table and you can play pretty much anywhere. It's not a great battery life on it. It's only like 2 or 3 hours, but if you're just sitting there having a beer and you feel like playing Mario Kart, you can sit and do that.
It's pretty cool. It's got a little screen on the unit itself.
Yeah, it's like I want to say it's like 4x8 or something like that. I don't know off the top of my head. Maybe 5x9.
Oh, that's neat.
It's pretty cool. It's a good time.
Welcome, Edwin. The Ace is live on Indiegogo Acevedo. Hail, peeps.
Hell yeah, man. Hail.
Welcome, El Gargo. Thanks for the eggplant.
Absolutely.
Wow. Oh, man, that makes me feel bad. I had a bunch of eggplants in my fridge, and, I was unfortunately eating out too much lately, and I was neglecting the food in the fridge, and they all went bad.
That's a shame.
Yeah. I hate when fresh vegetables go to waste.
Yeah, it's always a shame. We end up doing that a lot too. We'll go and we'll get something from the grocery, and we'll have this fresh food, fresh fruit, and stuff like that. And we're gonna eat good this week, and then by Wednesday we're like, yeah, you want McDonald's? I want McDonald's too. Let's just go get McDonald's.
And you guys are playing on your Switch. And
I'm playing on our Switch in the drive-through. Exactly.
Before you know it, all the food's gone bad.
Yeah.
For the next shopping trip.
But we're playing Mario Kart, so it's all good.
Yeah. Everyone in the audience, we got kind of sidetracked talking about console gaming.
Yeah.
So we'll probably talk a little bit more about it before we get into the book. So we were getting back to what kind of Star Wars console games were you playing?
Oh yeah. So the Super NES ones were ones that I played when I was a kid. And I had Rogue Squadron for the 64 and Shadow of the Empire. And then going into like the PS2 Xbox era.
Oh, before you go there, Super Star Wars, was that basically a port of the arcade game where it's all wireframe and you're in an X-wing? I know what you're
talking about. No, I'd actually never played that. I was actually, I think I was watching something probably a couple of weeks ago about that, talking about the arcade games and stuff for Star Wars. That looks really cool. Apparently, it came in like a standard cabinet, or it came in like this like sit down cabinet that you could do.
Yep.
And it looks cool as hell, but I never got to play it.
Yeah, it was quite cool for its time. I mean, looking
back, the trench star or the trench of the Death Star.
Yeah. But nowadays, when you look at it, it's kind of like, I don't know if you call it tacky, but when you saw all this like photorealistic animation and thousands of pixels,
right,
polygons or what have you, then you go back to wireframes. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, it's
survive this.
it's definitely a change.
Yeah,
but they had the thing was that it was actually pretty creative for the time how they got around, actually having to do it. Like it was almost like a first person perspective.
Yes,
a first person shooter flyer. It was pretty cool. It looks really cool. I if I could get my hands on one of those arcade cabinets, I don't know if I'd buy it, but I definitely think about it.
Well, here's a segue. Well, you don't happen to live in Canada, do you?
No, I actually I live across the Lake Erie, down
Michigan?
in Ohio. Do what?
You're in Ohio or Michigan?
Ohio. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm in southern Ohio.
are you really?
Yeah, yeah.
Shit, so am I.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, there's so many people that I've been on streams with and I've talked to that are in southern Ohio, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty funny. Excuse me. The reason I ask is, you ever catch my streams with the guest 8-Bit Shinobi?
No, I didn't see that one.
So he and his brother are really working towards one day opening their own arcade bar.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
In Ottawa, Canada. And but he shows his projects on my channel whenever I can get them, and he's got a couple really cool things that I really love about what he's doing. One of them is he has like a system game rental business where he'll, like, it's a local business, so that's why I said, if you're in Canada, where they have a collection of all these classic systems, and what they do is they soup them up, right? They soup up the interiors, the guts with I don't know if it's Raspberry Pi or what it is, but they jack it up so it's got all these internal games in these consoles. So not only classic games from various platforms, but also arcade games.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've seen people do that before. It's really like, the Raspberry Pi actually has a specific program that you can put on it that'll play like almost anything. As long as you've got the controller that you can plug into it, you can play anything on it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean, that's definitely it's funny that you say the video game bar, like an arcade bar, because I live close to two arcade bars in my area, and one of them, you can pass this along to him because I thought it was a really cool idea. But basically, this one place that I go to every now and again, I was there at the beginning of April. They have like a screen top that's see-through, so it's like a TV under there, and then they have beneath the bar they have the joystick and the buttons, so you can sit and you could drink and stare at the bar and play, like, I think they had Galaga, Dig Dug, I think Frogger, stuff like that, like, easy, the classics and stuff like that basically need two buttons and a joystick, and then you can sit and just play a game and have a beer. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
This is under the surface, the countertop of the main bar.
Yeah, under the bar top. Basically, they they took the bar and they cut sections out and they put TVs where they would normally were in between the sections, and then
That's a good idea.
A small cabinet underneath. It's pretty cool. I was sitting on it, like, the first time that I went in there, I saw that, I was like, that is genius. Because now I don't have to get up and walk around. I can literally just sit and play Frogger while I enjoy a beer. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So if he's interested, pass that along to him, because that's I definitely, as a patron, I love that. So
I heard there's one not too far from me. I think it's in downtown area, but I haven't been to it yet. I heard it's pretty cool. Let's see, and then I think he's also with the home delivery console system business. I think he also collects actual games that go with the systems.
Yeah.
And then he sells the ones that have all these arcade games and console games loaded on them. So they'll have like over 1,000 games.
That's awesome. I love stuff like that.
And then the one I'm most interested in, excuse me, the one I'm most interested in is a full-size arcade cabinet. You can have it rigged up with 2 controllers, as I understand. So if you want to play the 2-player games.
Yeah.
And it contains up to 5,000 games or over 5,000.
Yeah, I've seen in the Cincinnati Mall. I don't know if anybody's seen like the Dead Mall, watching, if they've seen the Dead Mall stuff on YouTube. But I don't know if you've seen it, but
What mall?
The Dead Mall series that they have on YouTube.
Dead Mall. Oh,
it's like, when malls basically lose all of their stores and stuff like that. Like there's this guy who walks around and he films them. Well, he did one on the Cincinnati Mall, and I had never been to the Cincinnati Mall. I've lived in Southern Ohio the majority of my life, and I'd never even heard of the Cincinnati. I didn't even know it existed. So one day I'm watching this YouTube video and this guy's walking through and he's like, yeah, this is the Cincinnati Mall. And I'm just kind of looking at it like, what the hell? I had no idea this was even here. So he walks past an arcade and he stops and he, kind of, looks at it a little bit and he goes in and he looks at some of the games and everything like that. And one of the things they had there was a cabinet that's got something like that in it, where it has a bunch of different games in it.
Oh yes.
And so that's something that a lot of people are starting to do, because it's easier to have one cabinet with like 500 games on it than the hunt down, because it's so hard. Like that's one of the things that, because I actually ended up going down there. I went down and I went down to that arcade and talked to the guys in there. And they were saying that one of the big things that they had to deal with was upkeep. And, when they get them, a lot of the times they don't work because they're so old now. They had a Star Wars one. I don't know if you've seen this, but like you can actually like lightsaber duel Darth Vader and stuff like that with like a joystick. It's an older campaign. It's an older cabinet. But they like the bench seat that you're on, they got it, but it was damaged when they got it. And there's no replacement part for it now. So, either they did something custom or they just kind of went with it. So, it's pretty cool.
So was it operable, that game?
Yeah. They ended up, they got it to work and everything, but sometimes the parts either are coming from like a secondary market or they're ripping it out of another, dead cabinet. So, it's one of those things where it's kind of cannibalizing in some cases.
Yeah. Wow.
It's the same thing with pinball machines. I'm a big fan of pinball machines.
Yeah, 8-bit Nobody's collecting those too for his arcade.
Oh man, those are so expensive. So expensive. I want them so bad, but I see like a used one and it's like $3,000. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, those.
I don't know if I could do that.
Those in arcade cabinets run really high.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's still the case, but he was at one point running a promo where you could get a cabinet that has like over 5,000 games, custom built, and it'll be either 1,200 or 1,500.
That's not bad.
That's a hell of a
bad at all.
It's way affordable compared to other quotes.
Compared to other cabinets, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking at like Captain America and the Avengers cabinet, that thing's going to run you a ton of money because of how popular just the name is now.
Oh, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
And as I understand it, he's equipping it with casters so that you can move it around. Then I think you can lock it into place to keep it steady. So that's nice too.
Yeah,
because those things are heavy.
Oh yeah, yeah. They get pretty heavy. You'd be surprised. I know that there's an arcade company that sells arcade cabinets that are like half-size arcade cabinets.
Oh, like one-up machines that you see at Costco now.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, I thought about buying one of those until I saw the size and then I saw the price. I was like, it's kind of small, but maybe if it's that. And then I saw $300. I was like, nope. I just walked away. I don't think so. $300 for not a cabinet? I don't think so.
They're cute, but I can't see myself.
I wanted one. Yeah.
I don't think I'd want them bad enough. Number one, the size, the height. I'd have to be sitting down or crouched or something.
Right.
They also sell, I guess. I don't think they come with them, but you can get these stands that kind of match the surface and the look of the cabinet itself, and you prop it up so it raises it up like a foot and a half or something like that.
Well, maybe that might not be too bad, because
So,
they almost got me with the TMNT case.
Yeah.
Like, I saw that, I was like, man, that is hard to say no to. I love Turtles in Time. I think is probably my all-time favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. I love that game, and I saw that and I was like, oh man, I want it so bad, but I just can't spend the money on it. And then they had NBA Jam 96, and that almost got me too. I loved that game too, man. I loved that arcade game. That was so much fun.
Isn't that the one where if you got enough power-ups, it would say, "You're on fire"?
Yeah, he's on fire. And then he'd like do a dunk. Yeah.
That was a funny game.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's such a good game.
I would play it every now and then, but I always sucked at the sports ones.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that I wasn't a huge like Madden guy, and I wasn't like even now I'm not like really into sports, but there's something about NBA Jam that just I could not pass up. I loved that game. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Excuse me. What type of game was Super Star Wars, by the way?
That would have probably been like an action platformer. Like you jumped around. I think you start out at start out on Tatooine.
Oh.
And I think you're in a oh shit, what is that? The sand crawler.
Okay.
The Jawas, like they're sand crawler. They're like you kind of like jump and do flips and stuff in it.
Okay, all right, that kind of game.
I think you have a blaster at the beginning too, because I don't think you get the lightsaber until later.
Right.
It's been a while since I've beaten that one, so I don't know. I spent like a few months ago, like I said, I was playing it, but I ended up putting that down, like I said, because it's so damn hard now.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you ever saw it, but there was a game they made for the PC when the Phantom Menace came out, and it was I'm trying to remember. I thought it was, I guess it's more or less like a 3/4 perspective.
Wasn't Jedi Academy, was it?
No, it was before Jedi Academy, I think.
Okay.
Before they started getting fancy and focusing their time on developing lightsaber and developing lightsaber fighting in the Force into games.
Okay.
But it was, well, I don't know. I don't remember the timeline, but but it was based on episode 1, Phantom Menace, and it was pretty cool. I had a lot of fun on it.
Right.
I'd like to see if I can get a hold of a copy and see if I can get it played on my machine again. That'd be neat. So you were saying that you got into arcade games in your early childhood.
Yeah.
Really into it. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I just adding action, adventure, westerns, things like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think that's pretty accurate. I'm into that kind of stuff. Horror was another big one for me. Just in general, just as like a whole genre. Like I said, my dad was big on like Aliens. My dad really liked Aliens movies. He wasn't such a fan on Aliens 3, but he liked the first 2 quite a bit.
Yeah, the first 2 were probably the best.
Yeah.
Then they started jumping the shark.
Yeah, a little bit. But he got into some other stuff. I remember when Doom came out, he was into Doom quite a bit. I remember watching him play that. I thought that was pretty cool.
You mean also the movie based on?
No, no, God, no, just the just the game. Oh man, no. I'm trying to think of some other horror films that I remember. He watched a lot of B movie horror films, like The Toxic Avenger.
Oh
Yeah. He was really into those. I remember watching Warlock. I don't know if you remember Warlock. It was like early. It had to have been like 92, 93, maybe 94 at the most.
I might have seen it, but with respect to like campy horror,
Yeah.
I watched a lot of movies from Blue Moon Entertainment,
Blue Moon.
like Dollhead, Dollman, and the Puppet Master.
Oh yeah, the Puppet Master movies are great. Yeah.
Trancers. Trying to think of who else, but they made a lot of funny, entertaining movies.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that I always loved about like Trauma. You know, when a lot of the movies they made, like Toxic Avengers and
I was the Nukem High. I think that was them.
But yeah, they made a lot of really off the wall. I think what was that? Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I think was them. You know, and it's just, you know, campy fun horror. You know, it's good stuff. But that's the thing that I loved about Raimi. You know, like Drag Me to Hell, I think is probably one of my favorite Sam Raimi movies. It's so over the top with the gross out stuff. You know, that it's so absurd, and it takes you through all these turns and everything like that. And what I loved about Drag Me to Hell was that it ramps up all the way to her getting dragged to hell, and then right at the end, like, it stops. Like, you know, she finally beats it, and you think that she's won, and then it like just starts all over again immediately. And it's just, I don't know. There's something about Sam Raimi that I think. I honestly don't think that there's a single Sam Raimi film that I can honestly say I don't like. You know, I everything that he's ever put on film, I think I can walk away from pretty happy. That said, I haven't seen his Grudge remake, but
His what?
The Grudge. Do you remember The Grudge?
Okay.
Yeah, he remade that, and I'm pretty much done with the Marvel movies. But the only Marvel movie that I'm actually interested in is the new Doctor Strange movie, and that's specifically because Raimi's in it. Plus, I really like Doctor Strange. There's nothing else. There's no other, you know, projects that they have that I'm really, you know, invested in aside from Doctor Strange.
What is it called? The Multiverse of Horror or something like that, or
the Multiverse of Madness or something?
Yeah.
I think it's Madness. I think it's Madness.
Yeah, people are suggesting that it might be where they take the storyline from the comics where Wanda goes nuts or something.
Yeah, well, apparently he was supposed to be in WandaVision. I've never seen WandaVision, so I can't say whether or not it's any good, but apparently it was they felt that a man should not be telling her how to use her powers.
Oh no!
Yeah, so they decided to cut him out, which I think is a shame because that might have actually gotten me to watch that show. But
Yeah,
you know, whatever. You know, it's
their choice. It's their franchise. They can do it. They can ruin it however they want to ruin it.
yeah. As soon as they started talking about, you know, announcing the lineup for Phase 4,
Yeah.
it was like, oh dear God, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I saw a list of the movies and I didn't get excited for anything.
Yeah,
Like I remember looking at it and thinking like that doesn't look that good. That doesn't look that good. I think they have like the Marvels instead of Captain Marvel now, as if one of them wasn't bad enough.
oh yeah.
You know,
They got the Eternals, I think.
yeah, and that doesn't look very good at all. You
I
know,
mean, it seems like they're trying to bring in a lot of star power, and they got like people like Angelina Jolie.
is she in that?
As I understand it, yeah.
Oh, I man, it shows how much I've paid attention to it. Wow.
But you know, I haven't been following much of Marvel lately because I'm not all that interested in Phase 4.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, I haven't been following. I don't think I've actually bought a mainstream comic.
actually, come to think of it. like even Marvel, DC. I don't think it's. I think it was in 2015, 2016 was the last time I bought. Maybe even before that. I know it was like the all new, all different Avengers around then. I think I bought the Savage Wolverine was the last one that I bought, and I just remember thinking like, this is not very good. And I think I was kind of done. I think I was kind of done at that point. And then Comicsgate started coming out and doing their books and stuff like that, and I started picking them up, and there's a lot of solid books that I've gotten. I think I've backed like 95 different projects.
Ooh, nice.
I haven't really been disappointed by many of them. I mean, there's a lot of really good ones out there.
Do you have a channel, a YouTube channel?
No, I was actually thinking about doing one, but I just haven't figured out.
What I was going to do was I was going to play NES games on like an emulator, because they have a thing where you can like connect remotely. So I was gonna do like an interview thing where I interview somebody and we play like a really super hard NES game, but I can't get it to work, so I haven't done it yet.
You mean there's a way to run an emulator and then have the person you're interviewing remotely connect to that emulator and both of you play the same game?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, but
how cool!
I can't. It lags way too hard. So like I tried playing Street Fighter 2 with a friend of mine.
All right.
And we were so off sync. We were sitting and talking live, and like he would say, "Oh, like I wanted to see like the timing between it," and he would say, "Okay, I'm about to do a Hadouken with Ryu," and like I would be playing, I don't know, Blanca, and he would launch the Hadouken, and in the time that he would say, "I'm launching it," to the time that it would hit would be about 3 or 4 seconds, and I don't know how. Like I just don't know if that's going to really work on screen. So, we're still banging out some of the kinks, but yeah, I definitely plan on doing it at some point. I would really like to do it.
That's a fun idea.
Yeah, thank you.
I think you should. I think you definitely should have a channel, and I think it would also be a good idea to, if you're into it, doing some CG book reviews, and
that could be cool.
Opinion and. Because we don't seem to have a lot of book reviewers on in our community right now. We either have promoters or creators, or those who are both.
Well, see, here's the thing. What if I decide I want to do a book review, right? And I make somebody mad. And then they start trashing my book. I don't know if I want to do that.
yeah. All right.
No, I'm kidding.
I could stand up to the heat, but I probably do something like that in the future. I just got to find the right emulator, and I got to find another kink that kind of throws a wrench in the gears is the person has to have like a controller that they can connect to the computer.
Oh,
so that's something I didn't think about when I was originally coming up with the idea. It's a good idea in practice, but if they don't have a controller, now they've got to go and buy a controller to be on my show, and that's I don't want to force somebody to have to go and hunt down like a $25 controller they can't.
Well, let me ask you this: what are the chances that the emulator supports keyboard play? If you don't
I think most of them actually do.
Maybe they're mapping so that you can play via the keyboard.
Yeah, I think that probably would work, now that I think about it. I wonder how uncomfortable that would be, or if people would be all right with it. They could practice for a week, and then the next following week I'll have them on the show.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever tried playing it. You're Comicsgate, but I don't know if you're a fan of Menace. Have you ever heard of Geeks and Gamers?
Oh yeah, with
Jeremy?
Yep, Jeremy Griggs.
Yeah.
I guess one of their fans, Geeks and Gamers fans, developed a simple platformer. Well, I don't know if you'd call it simple, but it's like an adventure where you play as Jeremy, and your power-ups are apple juice.
Apple juice.
And it says something to the effect, taking a sip for the working man. And then the thing that I think he still needs to add is in the beginning, it says something like, this is Jeremy and Geeks and Gamers or something like that. And I love it to say, coming at you with another video or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's, but there's this game, right? And I've, if you do a search on my channel for, I think it's called WyzGyz Games or WyzGyz.
Okay.
But anyway, I played it several times, and I'm only like level 6 or 7 in on the game, and it's still going. And it's a platformer, and it's one of those things where it can be quite hard sometimes, but it's still enjoyable, and it makes you want to keep playing.
Well, those are the games I like. I love a good, solid, difficult game. Like Goonies 2. That was a good game.
Oh man, the Goonies game on the PC was awesome.
I was talking about the NES game.
Oh well, I
didn't know they had one on the PC.
I never played the NES Goonies.
My dad took a day off of work to play that. He rented it from Blockbuster. I'm serious. It was 1991, I want to say. He took a day off from work. He took a sick day, rented it from Blockbuster, and played that.
Oh man, I swear to God, I got so much of my father in me. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome, though. It sounds like a cool dad. I mean,
yeah, he was all right.
He was pretty cool. Yeah.
My other dad, my stepdad, excuse me, was very much a gamer, like I am, and he's very much a nerd. And what we were doing is we'd get a couple, Mac Tower systems, that are upgradable.
Right.
And, at one point I decided to take some of my savings and plop it down to get us identical systems so that neither of us could complain about the other having an advantage. Exact same specs, exact same operating system. And, we'd play World of Warcraft, we'd play all the Blizzard games and all that stuff. It was pretty dang awesome.
Cool, man. That sounds like a lot of fun.
We used to get a lot of... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, welcome Jennifer Grover, WyzGyz Entertainment. Hey, darling, I miss you, WyzGyz. Hey, miss you too, Jennifer. I just followed the link, and I loved what I saw, so I purchased a perk. This book looks beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's really sweet.
That's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your support. CG! Speaking of which, Grave Robbers, Welcome to the Hellhole, is in demand. So yeah, definitely back it today. I mean, if you backed it already, consider backing again. In fact, back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady. If by chance you don't have the means to do so at this time, consider sharing it all over your social media and get more eyeballs on this project. Share the link to the campaign, share the link to the stream, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. And also you can hit follow on the Indiegogo page so you can keep tabs on the campaign as we go.
Sweet. Yep. Let's see. Where were we?
I don't know. I got lost somewhere. Talking about gaming a little bit.
We spoke briefly about the Goonies.
Right, yeah.
my best friend and I played the Goonies on his PC for a long time. It was a lot of fun. You know, it was playing, doing all these little puzzles and stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, they recreated scenes from the movie, and you try and get the right combination on the skeleton keys on the organ, so that you didn't fall down. And it was a well-made game.
That sounds pretty cool. I gotta check that out. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, I made it on the PC. But going back to the other one, the Geeks and Gamers game, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's free to play. There's a I was just trying to see if I could find the link to it really quick, but I'm having trouble finding it. But anyway, if you do a search on my channel for games, WyzGyzs, you'll see this among the games I've been playing, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's called Fact Blast by T-Rev.
Fact Blast.
Yeah. And you play it in a web browser window. And I think you have the opportunity, if you wanted to donate to the cause to celebrate his hard work. I'm going to drop a link to that. Fact Blast. You play as Jeremy, and you're fighting against SJWs.
That's always a good time.
Yeah, you're throwing facts at them.
That's pretty clever. I like that.
Yeah, it's very clever. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
I miss you too, Jennifer. Good to have you. Glad you were able to make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a fun game, and you play it on your keyboard, so you know it's basic controls. Like the left side of your keyboard, I think up, down, jump, crowd.
WSAD.
Yeah, I think so. And then you've got one button for your attack, and then of course your power-ups are the apple juice you come across along the way.
Right.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'll check that out, man. I got it up on my browser now. I'll check it out after the stream.
Yeah, I mean, apple juice is a good one. They also could have done Yoo-Hoo's, because he's a big fan of Yoo-Hoo's, as I understand.
My wife is a big fan of Yoo-Hoo.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually funny. I have a funny story about that. When we were living in Florida, I used to live in Daytona for a few years.
Really?
Yeah. For about, I'd say maybe about 6 years, I lived in Daytona. We moved down there when I was a teenager. But yeah, we were down there, and she had a card to Sam's Club, and she loves Yoo-Hoo, but she only likes it in the cans. Like, that's her big thing, is she likes the canned Yoo-Hoo.
What?
So,
I don't know what it is. I don't get it either. I don't know. She's very specific, my wife. So
that's goodness.
we go to Sam's Club, and she gets this huge, like 36 can case of it, and it's just like it's just a cardboard thing with 36 cans wrapped in plastic wrap. And we're taking the groceries in, we're getting everything inside, and she sits it down. Like, we had a Mini Cooper at the time, so she popped the hatchback, and she like puts it out, and she sits it on the ground, and then she starts grabbing the other stuff because it's so heavy. She's waiting for me to take it inside, and I'm inside. I totally forgot about this thing. She didn't mention it to me, so I'm inside putting stuff away. And she's like, I got to go move the car real quick. I'll be right back. So she goes out, she gets into the car, she turns on the engine, and she puts it in reverse and runs over, just backs right over 36 cans of Yoo-Hoo. Now, the thing is that, you know, you'd think that it wouldn't be a big deal, but we had a mini and it was so low to the ground that she literally just smashed all 36 cans with the car. All of it. And she was so upset. She pulled forward and she gets out of the car. And I go outside and she's almost in tears looking at it. We ended up going later the week and, you know, getting more. But it's just, it cracks me up.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh.
If we would have had a normal sized car, I would have gone right over it, no problem. But,
Oh my gosh, it smashed right through every one of the cans.
every single one of them. It smashed every. I think that it got under like the gas tank of the car because the gas tank was, you know, it was like, I don't know. I think it was like a 12-gallon tank, so it was pretty wide and it took up a lot of space. So it must have been just big enough and long enough to where it just sat right on top of it and just crushed it.
Was it one of those things where, as she was backing over it, it was like shooting like crazy, like a?
I didn't see it. All I know is that like I walked out, and you know, because I hadn't seen her for something. Like, you know, she was just pulling into the garage or something. I don't really remember what it was, but like I walked outside to check on her, and I just saw her standing, you know, in the driveway. So I walk out, and there's just Yoo-hoo all down the driveway leading out to the street. And I'm just like, what happened? And she was like, I backed over it. I don't even remember putting it there. But yeah, all of it just destroyed in an instant. She said she heard a crunch and she was scared that she had like run over something or had hurt the car, or, you know. So she pulled forward and she heard the crunch again because she let off of it. And then, you know, she walked out and saw the carnage.
Can you imagine if the Yoo-hoo manufacturers like rigged the can so that anytime the can was threatened with being crushed, it would say Yoo-hoo?
We would have gotten 36 Yoo-hoos that day if that was the case. Just shouting out a Yoo-hoo. No. Oh man.
Oh,
she still cringes at that today. Like if it gets brought up, she's like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what. It's so funny.
Well, did you ever occasionally get in an argument and then when she's trying to be too aggressive, you bring up the Yoo-hoo incident?
No. She can get I'll say she can get a little animated in our fights, so I tend to try not to piss her off any more than I have to.
So, did you ever get a chance to introduce her to the bottle version?
Oh no, she doesn't like it.
She doesn't like it.
She thinks it's okay. Like she doesn't hate it. I guess I should say she doesn't think that it's like, you know, she just prefers the can. Like if somebody asks her if she wants a bottle of like Yoo-hoo, she'll say no and she'll go for something else. I don't know what it is. I don't know if she just likes the taste of the can or what. I wouldn't imagine that would be the case. But
I like some aluminum in my.
Yeah, I like the aluminum flavor in my chocolate beverage. But yeah, she's a weird one, man. She's a weird one.
But she's your weird one.
That's true. I have to live with that forever.
Jennifer says, "Thank you, darling. You're such a sweetheart." Well, you are too. What you talking about? You're sweeter than me. If you were in the rain, Jennifer, you would melt away because you're sweet as sugar. Yeah. So let's see. So games, arcades, consoles, Star Wars, Goonies. Yeah. So what were the milestones in your life that led you to become this crowdfunded comics creator? I mean, did you go to formal schooling? Did you study storytelling? Did you read scripts? Did you watch YouTube videos?
Kind of a little bit. You know, the formal schooling, I didn't have any really formal schooling. I read a lot of scripts. I read a book on how to write
how to write screenplays, because I love movies. I'm a big movie fan. I have, probably I have a whole wall of DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that. It's just something like, that my dad, I guess, kind of passed on to me because he was, a big movie fan. But, growing up with that, I've always had an interest in movies and, comic books, obviously, at the same time, and, I always liked to write, I was, creative. I used to draw a lot when I was a kid. But, I wasn't ever really good at drawing. I'm not terrible at it, but I'll give an example. I drew out the original logo for Grave Robbers, and I thought it looked really good. I showed it to my wife, and she thought it looked really good. And I showed it to a couple of friends, and they thought it looked pretty good too. Well, when I started talking to Passion for Drawing about drawing the book, he was like, "Do you have a title picked out?" And, I was like, well, I've kind of sketched one out. And he's like, okay, well, let me see it. And I was so proud. Like, I took a picture of it, and I sent it to him. And, I was really, really waiting to hear what he'd say. And, it gets there, and he's like, oh, okay, I see it now. And he opens it. Like, I can hear, like, his mouse click as he opens the link. And he just stays quiet for, like, 15 solid seconds. And then he just goes, I think there's somebody that I can connect you with that'll be able to do a logo for you. And I remember, like, my heart just sank into my chest. I was like, oh wow, I didn't think it was that bad. But, like, he didn't say anything for, like, a good, like, at least 5 seconds. And he's just like, what, I think I got somebody that can help you. I was like, oh shit, okay. Man. But that's the thing that I like about Passion for Drawing, man. He tells it like it is, and he doesn't, he's not afraid to voice an opinion, whether or not it's good or bad. And I think that's been really valuable for the campaign, because, it's very easy to fall into, what people who care about you say, because, like, my wife doesn't want to hurt my feelings, and
right.
She probably genuinely thought it looked good. But, there's going to be that filter of, I love you and I don't want to hurt your feelings. So, same thing with family and friends, but Passion is, he's all about quality, and, he's about making something really good. And, if he was going to be involved in the book, he wanted the book to look good. And I'll be honest with you, compared to my first sketch, this girl, Das Nomo on Twitter is, she's really, really good. She's done a lot of different work on, a lot of different projects, but,
wait, what's her name?
Das Nomo. I think it's Das _ Nomo, like gnome, but with an an O instead of an E at the end.
D-A-S. Oh.
D-A-S
G-N-O-M-E?
_ Do what?
Is it D-A-S
_ G-N-O-M-O?
Oh, you know what? It looks like it.
It might be the real Das Nomo, now that I think about it.
That's what I'm thinking, because there is a profile on Twitter. It looks like I'm already following her. Character artist. The Twitter handle is @real_DasNomo.
That's it. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, not a problem.
I got it mixed up. She did a phenomenal job. She actually did. I think she did his logo too, if I'm not mistaken, for Doom Fate. Yeah. I talked to her, and we went back and forth for a little bit about what I wanted, what I was thinking. I showed her what my original drawing was, and she sent me back the emblem that you see on the screen. I immediately I saw it, and I was like, that's it. That's the logo. And it looks so much better than I could have anticipated. But the funny thing was, she sent that to me, and then I looked at my logo, and I was like, yeah, Passion was right. This is way, way better. It is. And that's the thing, is that, that's
like I said, he's about quality, and he's not afraid to call it out. When he sees something that he doesn't think is up to snuff. He loved the script. He loved everything in the script. He liked the characters. He was really excited about it. But when it came to the logo, that was one of those things where he was like, "Yeah, this is something that if I were you, I would change." And he was right. He's absolutely right. And that's been something planning out and plotting out the course of the comic book that's really been a huge asset. He's not afraid to say, okay, this doesn't work. What do you think about this? And I'm not so big, or so I don't want to say arrogant, but I'm not so self-absorbed that I can't say, yeah, let's change that. If there was something in the script, or if there was something on a page that either he couldn't draw, or I had described wrong, or in a way that made it confusing, he would say, okay, there's two actions happening on this page. I can only do one. So let's kind of see what we can go, or where we can go there. So we ended up, honestly, I think that adding him on as the artist was a huge bonus to my comic. We ended up, I think it started out as 28 pages, and we spread it out to 36.
Really nice.
And just adding some little pieces here and there. It's all obviously, it's written by me, but he definitely had some say in it. I think that that's important.
Cool. Jennifer says, "Oh, WyzGyz, you're so sweet. I love you." Kisses and hugs.
Yeah.
I hope you're not drinking, Jennifer. Not too much, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Friday, so yeah.
Yeah, I got a bottle of whiskey with me, so
There you go.
It's not too bad to have a few.
There you go. Yeah, not too much.
Not too much.
Just enough.
So after the logo was completed, and once it was finished, did you then bring it back to your wife and your friends and see what they thought about it then?
It was a dramatically different reaction, and it made me. There was a little part of me that was like, "Really? Like, really?" Because I showed it to my wife, and I when I showed the first one to my wife, she was like, "Oh yeah, that looks good." But I showed her the Grave Robbers logo, the actual logo now, and she's like, "Wow, that looks really good." I'm like, "Are you kidding? Like, really? No, you couldn't tell me." Like, all right, whatever. There was a little bit of salt. I'm not gonna lie, but
was a similar reaction for your friends?
Yeah, pretty much everybody that I showed both logos to was like, "Wow, that's really good. Did you do that?" I'm like, "No, I had somebody else did that." "Oh, okay." Like they might as well have said, "Oh yeah, no, that makes sense." It's like, "Oh really? Okay, geez."
Oh man.
No, but at the end of the day, I was really proud to be able to have such a fantastic logo, and to work with somebody that's clearly very talented. I mean, she did a hell of a job on the logo. I love it. Yeah. I really do. I show everybody that I can. I'm like, this is the logo for my book. Doesn't it look awesome? And people seem to really like it. So, I really can't complain at all.
Nice. I have a little, darling. Not too much, I promise.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep. Everything in moderation. Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So you said you didn't have any formal training in writing?
No. When it comes to writing, a lot of I've always written, short stories. I've always written, a lot of things. I won a couple of awards in high school for writing.
Ooh.
There was a foreign language. I guess it was a competition. It was like a festival. I speak German pretty well. I started learning it when I was in the 6th grade. I was about maybe 12, 13. I'm 34 now.
German classes?
I went to there was a school that I was going to in the 6th grade that offered it.
Oh.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky. I was really lucky with that school. I love German culture, German language. I'm a big fan of Germany in general. I'm not German by birth. My dad's English, but
and my mom's from Kentucky, southern Ohio, Kentucky. But so I'm not like, I'm like not like a German person, but I got really into speaking German, and I started reading books, and watching German films, movies, shows and stuff like that. So I got pretty good at it over the years, and for this festival that they had, there were a lot of, I think it was a statewide thing, and there were uh, a few thousand submissions into this foreign language essay contest, basically explaining why the language you learned was, or learning in a foreign language was important. I placed second in that, and I think in my early high school career, there was it was when the Hulk was coming out, the Hulk movie, and Marvel Entertainment was doing an online contest for basically wrote a page of a comic book. I think it was Fantastic Four.
Okay.
So they it was already drawn, and it was already colored and everything, but you just filled in the dialogue, and whoever had the best dialogue would win. And I think there were something like 500,000 contestants, and there would only be so many picked for third place, second place, first place, and then the grand prize winner would win like a trip to Marvel Studio, or not Marvel Studios, but like Marvel headquarters at the time, because this was before like Iron Man and all that shit. But you'd go there and you get to meet like Brian Michael Bendis, Jeff Loeb. I don't think Jeff Loeb wrote for them then. It's not the point. You'd be able to meet all of the writers and the artists and the editors and see how it's written and all that stuff. And I was really excited for that because I was head over heels when it came to comic books. I've been collecting since I was little.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really excited for this contest, so I wrote it out. Like I planned it. Like I took a day, and I really just thought about like what were these characters say? Like who is this? Like Ben Grimm. What would Ben Grimm say in this position? Like what would Storm say in it? Like really trying to like put down on paper what I thought these characters would say. And to be honest, I have no idea. Like I have no idea what was on that panel, like on any of the panels on that page. I don't remember anything about it. I just remember that it was a Fantastic Four. And I submitted it, and I forgot about it for about 9 months. It was a competition. I think it ended, a month later, a month after I submitted it. But like I for the first couple of weeks, like I was like, man, I hope I do really well. And then like a week later after that, I was like, I don't even remember this. And out of nowhere, 9 months later, I get a package in the mail, and they're like, hey, you won third place in this contest. And I think there were like 10,000 third place winners.
Uh-huh.
And I think there were like 1,000 second place, 10 first place, and one grand prize. So out of like 500,000 submittals, I was able to beat out probably like 90% of them, probably more than that. But it was
nice.
It's a little feather in my hat, I guess, is what I'm saying. I'm a big fan of writing. I've been reading since I was a kid. I've been writing since I was a kid. But as far as formal training, like I took some English classes in college, and I took a creative writing class. But most of my writing in terms of comic books has mostly been based on script writing. Kevin Smith did an interview with Stan Lee, 2001 maybe, I want to say. And in that interview, basically Stan Lee said, what we would do back then is, we were all big movie fans. We were all big movie buffs. So we would go and see these movies, and we would try to write the way that the screenwriters wrote. So we were literally writing movies on the pages is what we were trying to do. So I remembered Stan Lee saying that, and I love movies too, and I figured, what the hell, let's see what I can do. So I bought a screenwriter's book. It was like a two-part book. So I bought part one, and I read it, and I bought part two, and I read through that. And, excuse me. And I started writing, whatever I could, just
whatever I could think of. You know, I start planning out characters, you know, trying to plan out scenes and trying to, you know, trying to figure out what it was that I was trying to work out. And before I knew it, you know, I had the character Big Dick Murphy, you know, Amanda Lynn, you know, Waylon Louder. And, you know, I had these characters and I just started kind of putting backstory on paper. You know, I ended up with like 20 pages, you know, 20, you know, 8 by 11, you know, like Word document pages, just filled with backstory, filled with different stories that I was thinking about. And at this point, I think that I probably have close to 50 pages now, just of backstory for the main characters, backstory for the villains, and, you know, more stories that I'd like to tell. Like Welcome to Hellhole is the first of many stories that I'd like to tell with the Grave Robbers. It's the first big story for them. The next one is going to be a story called El Paso Sucks that has to do with vampires in El Paso. As if the title didn't give it away. But, you know, there's a few more. Like there's 5 more storylines that I'd like to pursue.
Nice.
And I really, you know, I've come to love these characters, and you know, I've got the first 5 of these issues, the first 5 of these comics written. I have the 6th one started, but I kind of put a hold on it to see where I end up with these, you know, to see where it goes. And you know, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I think that I've done a pretty good job. You know, I've got you know, the pages keep rolling in, passion keeps bringing me new stuff, and I could not be more excited for what I've got. I mean, I'm in the process of lettering right now, and I every time I open up the page, you know, because I'll see the pencils that Passion draws, and then I'll see the inks, and I'm just blown away by how good they are. And then I send them up to Eugene to get colored, and I mean, he sends them back, and it's just like, man, I didn't think that these could get better. You know, like he sends me the inks, and I'm just like, wow. But then the colors come back, and it's just like, it's a whole nother level. And I'm so excited for this. We actually have one of the things that I'm really excited for people to see is we have something back in like the 20th or the 19th century. You know, they had hearses. Like we have hearses today. They also had hearses, but they were so different. They were super ornate, and they had like angels on the corners. It was like a stagecoach, but a hearse. So like they almost had like stone, ornamental stone work on them, and like Gothic angels, you know, figures on the sides. It's really cool, and we've got one of those in the book, and I'm really excited for people to see that, because Passion's done a really cool job with that. Yeah, the action is phenomenal. I think people are going to really love the action. We've got a lot more, you know, we've got some on the page, or on the campaign page, but we have a lot more that's going to be coming, and I think people are going to be really, really blown away by it. It's some really cool stuff that we've got. Yeah, I'm really excited for this project.
On these script books, are they basically set up to be like outlines where it's just like a laid out format for you to plug in your characters, your descriptions, your story points? Or does it actually also, you know, have paragraphs of information that describe, you know, how to actually start the process and what it is you're trying to accomplish? And is it like a training guide? They literally,
it's kind of like a training guide, I guess. It's you know, it starts out, it gives you kind of an idea of you know, what each scene is supposed to try to convey. Well, you know, it's kind of not the way I guess I should put it. It tries to tell you basically, you know, it gives you a list of different shots
like, you know, a wide shot, you know, as opposed to like an anti-view or something like that, to kind of give you an idea, like medium shots, you know, so it's like a chest up, you know, two people talking, you know, in a medium shot, you know, it kind of lays that out for you, like the basics, but then it'll also go into, you know, kind of like the theory of screenwriting, you know, so basically what you want to have, you know, so like one page of like of like a screenplay is supposed to equal about a minute worth of screen time. So if you have like 120 minute or 120 page screenplay, that's supposed to roughly translate to maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more than 120 minutes. So it gives you kind of information like that. It kind of builds off of, you know, a little bit of, you know, I guess you kind of have to have a little bit of inherent knowledge of like the 3-part story. It goes into that a lot, which is, you know, usually how comic books are laid out is the 3-part story. So you start out with the introduction, and then you have the slow ramp up, you know, at the climax, and then the conclusion. But they give you other information, like the first 10 minutes or so of a movie should kind of encapsulate what the movie is going to be about, what the main character is like, you know, stuff like it should kind of set the groundwork for what you'll see later. Now, obviously, you can't do a lot of that. Like, I can't put 10 pages, you know, about, you know, for like a 36-page book, I can't put 10 minutes worth of, or 10 pages worth of character building for one of the characters. But
Yeah.
it would be a little bit much. But there are definitely things that I brought over. There are other things that I actually have nothing to do with screenwriting that I did. I think the first 5 pages of the book are totally wordless. Again? What?
Say that again?
The first 5 pages of the book are completely wordless. With the
You
exception
mean of the script writing book?
No, of Grave Robbers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wanted to, when did that book come out? Did you ever read Deadpool Funeral for a Freak? It was a 4-part series, I think in like 2000.
No, never have.
I was a big fan of Deadpool back in the day, and I picked up they killed him, and then they brought him back. And I picked up the funeral, I think it was when they brought him back, it was called Funeral for a Freak. And it was all about how, like, he comes back to, you know, comes back to Earth. Because, like, the whole thing is that he was in love with Death, and Death was in love with him. And so he comes back, and yeah, like Thanos was like I don't know if I'd call him a sexual rival, but like, because she couldn't have him, she wanted him like most of all, because apparently his healing factor is better than even Wolverine's.
Really?
So because he is so involved in like violence, he gets horribly maimed way more than Wolverine does. So, you know, like he gets his head cut off and then sewn back on, it's pretty rough for him. But yeah, so like that's something that's in the comic, is that, you know, like they have this, like he walks into a room and he pulls a veil off of this beautiful, sexy woman's face, and it's just a skull, and it's implied that it's death. But the thing is that the whole first book of the first parts, or of the 4-part series, is totally wordless. And the idea was that they wanted to tell a story without using words. So I thought that with my script writing ability and with Passion's drawing ability, that we would be able to pull off 4 or 5 pages of story without even, the only thing that's in there is the location and the date, and that's it. That's completely it. Outside of that, there's no words for the first 5 pages. I let the I basically wrote out what I wanted, and Passion drew it, and I think people are gonna love it. You know, it's pretty cool. I think that it tells the story really well. I think it's gonna leave people kind of guessing, like, what the hell was that, to a degree, but I think that it's going to be in a way that they want to know more about what's going on.
So
Not in the sense of like, what the hell did I just read and then throw it away. At least I hope that's what people don't do. But
it's like a writer's technique or a trick to draw the reader in.
yeah, it's almost like a flex, I guess. Like the idea of let me see if I can find that comic because it's pretty cool. Basically, it's like a way to tell the story. You know, the whole point of comic books is to tell a story visually. Like it's just the visual nature of comic books.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's important that you tell a story visually. Like that's the biggest part of comic books. You know, and as a writer, I recognize that. You know, and you know that's the way that I write my scripts. I write exactly what I want on the page, and you know, modify it as we go. But at the end of the day, the storytelling is in the images. So when we are looking at doing this, you know, I love Passion for Drawing's work. I think that he's a really good artist, and you know, I brought this up to him and I said, you know, what do you think about doing, you know, this idea where we don't use any words, we just use the visual aspect of the book to bring people in. And he was like, yeah, that sounds like a really cool idea. So like he drew this out to where, you know, it would be very animated. It would be very, you know, like, you know, it would have like a story driven feel without even having a single word. And, you know, I think people are going to walk away. Like I said, I think people are going to look at it and think I think they're going to like it. It's pretty cool. I can, I've shown some of the pages in updates, and I don't want to give it away too much, but I think that people are going to be pretty drawn in. It starts out slow, and then it ramps up pretty damn quick, and it's pretty cool. It gives a little bit of backstory to a certain character, and you know, it's definitely different. It's definitely different. You know, one of the things, one of the characters that I have, Richard, he's actually a 611-year-old crusader at the time that the book takes place. So the book takes place roughly in the 1870s, and his character was born in like 1280 something. Yeah, and you know, that's the thing, is that like he was a crusader. He fought, you know, in Jerusalem and, you know, Acre and stuff like that. You know, he's with the Knights Templar, and you know, things did not go the way that he wanted them to go. So he ends up, you know, in the middle of an Arizona desert in 1870 something. But you know, you kind of get a little bit of backstory on why there, and I think it's pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty good. I'm really excited to see people's response to it.
Nice. And actually, let me take a moment to say, back Grave Robbers, if you haven't. It's Grave Robbers. Welcome to Hellhole. Definitely be sure and back it. Let's show some more support and show some love. If you've already backed it, consider backing again. Why not?
And a huge thank you if you have already. I'm blown away by the amount of support that I've gotten, and I could not possibly be more thankful to everybody who's backed it. Really.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady.
I like the sound of that.
If you haven't the means to, or payday hasn't come up yet, consider sharing it all over your social media, so you get the more eyeballs on it. Share the campaign, share the stream. Thank you for your support. What is your writing style? Do you hole yourself in a room, or go to like a cabin in the woods?
A cabin in the woods. I wish I had a cabin in the woods. That'd be really cool.
And then commit yourself to making 3 or 4 chapters, and then finally let yourself out of the locked room.
That probably is what I need to be chained to a chair, probably, with how with no internet access and no video games on the computer. That's what
That's
I
the
need.
truth. Oh man, yeah.
I have, my wife thinks that I have ADD, and she's probably right. I can go off on a topic, and then 5 minutes later I'll be on like my seventh topic in just rapid succession. I've been known to interrupt myself. Like I'm serious. Like I've been known to interrupt myself.
Oh man.
And it's absurd, and I don't realize I'm doing it, but she points it out every time, and it's pretty funny. But the thing is that I can procrastinate, and I can lose track of what I'm doing pretty easily. So a lot of my writing I end up doing in really long bursts. So I'm writing a book right now called the High Executioner, and I'm a few hundred pages into it. But the thing is that I will go chapter by chapter, but I'll give myself a basic outline, and then one day I'll literally sit and I'll write for 4 or 5 hours, just boom, just 4 or 5 hours, and that's all I can think about. That's all I can see. I don't want to do anything else. I just hammer out a whole bunch of pages. Grave Robbers 1 was written over the course of probably, like, I wrote the characters originally probably 3 years before I wrote the script. And when I finally wrote the script, it took a couple of months. It was new. I had never done it before. I wasn't sure if I was doing it right. It was new. But then, by the time I got to the second one, it was a lot easier. And by the time I got to the third one, I wrote Grave Robbers 4 in the span of probably 6 hours. Just because I was so laser focused on it that I didn't think about anything else. I was just like, this is the story that I want to tell, and this is how I want to tell it. And I just put it down. But then there are other days where I'll be like, all right, I'm going to write, and I'll write 3 sentences. And it's like, really? That's all I can get out today? All right, I guess I'll go read some more Berserk. But it's kind of funny because in terms of style, I definitely like more actions stuff. I don't write a lot of romance. I'm not like a romantic kind of guy. I think in terms of my writing, that's just not something that I think that I every time I've tried to write something even relatively romantic, it comes off really, really awkward and weird. And I don't know if it's because I'm awkward and weird when it comes to romantic stuff.
Well, what does your wife say?
She thinks it's awkward, and it doesn't. It's just kind of weird. So
awkward and weird.
Awkward and weird. And it's like, why is he doing that? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, does she have an idea of why you might do awkward and weird romance?
I don't know. I think it's because I'm not really. I don't know. Like it's
not your wheelhouse.
Do what?
That's not your wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's not really my. Yeah, it's just not something that I know a lot about. I think probably. Okay. Like when it came to her, she was the one that introduced herself to me, and it just so happened to be because I was wearing a Spider-Man T-shirt, and she likes Spider-Man. She's like, all right, hey, we both quit smoking a few years ago, but we met because we both were smokers, and
all right.
Yeah, I was smoking a cigarette outside of class one day. And because we went to the same college at the time.
Cool.
Yeah, so I was sitting on a park bench and I was smoking a cigarette, and she saw the shirt, so she's like, "Hey, do you have a light?" And that's how we met. But I'm not great at that kind of stuff, and I think that comes through in my writing, because it's just like, this is like I've written stuff and just like, this is terrible. This is just terrible. Because it's just not something that I'm, like even with movies and stuff, I don't watch romance movies like rom-coms. But on the other hand, I do watch a lot of horror, action, and westerns and, stuff like that. Like the new Dread movie, the 2012 Dread movie, I think is phenomenal. It's one of my favorite movies.
That was the
Carl Urban.
yeah, that was the remake.
Yeah, yeah.
That was pretty decent.
I'm a big fan of that movie.
I liked it, but I still enjoyed the original one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I liked RoboCop a lot growing up when I was a kid.
Huge RoboCop fan.
Yeah, especially the first one too.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. Same thing with the Terminator. You know, I loved the first two Terminator movies. The third one was okay. Salvation was not bad, and then the rest are just trash. But
yeah, true.
but it's stuff like that that's what I write. You know, that's the kind of stuff. There's another comic book series that I'm working on that I've titled The Bloody Socket. And that's going to be a three-part book that I'm wanting to do. But it's totally about, you know, like super mutants in the future in space. You know, it's going to be cool. But like that's the kind of stuff that I write about. I don't write about like Jane Austen, about like a young 17-year-old girl who's, you know, who's very wealthy, but she meets a guy who's also wealthy and he's kind of snobby. And she doesn't look quite like him, but then after they have cocktails at some sort of... I don't even know what they do. I don't even know what they would do.
Wait, it turns out they're cousins. What?
Oh, see that would be something I would write, because that'd be kind of, you know, that'd be kind of a comedy. Like my friend Kelly, she loves romance books, and she's like, why can't you ever write anything nice? And she's like, I do write things that are nice. And she's like, no, everything you write has like a demon or it's bloody or like, well, yeah, that's fun. And she's like, no, it's not. And I was like, well, what do you like? She's like, well, you know, I like Pride and Prejudice. I'm like, I'm never gonna write that. Like, what? Why would you ever ask me about Pride and Prejudice? You know, it's not to say that it's bad. I guess I don't know. I've never really read it, but
that'll be. I was just gonna say that would be kind of interesting if, like, she presented a story idea, and you took it and just went with it and see what the final result would be, and if it ultimately went from being initially a romance novel to, you know, a Western action adventure.
Well, you know, it's funny. She mentioned, you know, like you don't even know what these books are about, do you? And I was like, I tell you what they're missing. And she said, what? And I said, a chick with chainsaw legs. And she just stared at me and blinked. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you. That's what I would write. And I'd call her Lady Slicey Legs. And she would, you know, I don't know, you know. Like that.
All right, that name is too silly, but
it's too silly. You're probably right. It's over the top.
But
you know,
didn't Tarantino do a movie?
That's what sparked that joke, was that Rose McGowan in Planet Terror had an M16 for a leg.
Yeah,
and that's what made me think, you know, I got to do something with like a limb replacement. And then I went with chainsaws because I think that's pretty cool.
Well, it's a classic thing, especially if you're into horror.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Welcome, Hexel and Comics. Hey, sorry,
hey.
Hellos. Good to have you,
Hex?
Yeah. So, how did you find or come across passion for drawing?
That was totally luck. I saw him on Twitter. And I was like, you know, this guy, you know, he had posted something, probably a piece of art, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I looked at his profile, I saw his Instagram, and I went and I checked out some of his art, and I thought that he did really, really good monsters. He had a style that I like to call like a cross between like Bernie Wrightson and like Joe Maduria. It's weird because it's like, it, you know, you look at some of the pages in Grave Robbers or even in Doom Fate, and they have like this heavy detail. Maybe not so much like Bernie Wrightson, because Bernie Wrightson was very, very heavy on his inks, but you know, then you have kind of more of a, you know, I don't want to say abstract because it's not abstract, but it's, and I don't want to say cartoonish because I don't want to make it sound silly, but it has like this almost fantasy like feel to it, and like I thought that was really cool, you know, because I like Maduria and I like Wrightson quite a bit,
I contacted him. I sent him a DM on Twitter, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm working on this series called Grave Robbers. Maybe you'd like to do some commissions for it sometime. I think you've got some pretty cool stuff." And from that point, he just asked me about some of the characters, and we hopped on like a Google Hangouts, and I just started talking about the book. I started talking about the characters, and with my ADD brain, I ended up just going wild with the story and telling him all this different stuff about where I want to go with it, character backstories, what they look like, etc. And by the time I was done, he was already like, he was pretty sold on the book. If he would have walked away at that moment, I'm pretty sure he would have been a backer if nothing else. But he did a couple of commissions for some characters, and over time, I asked him, what do you think about doing the book? And at first, I think he was kind of standoffish. Like I don't think he's a very methodical person, I think, and he's very calculated in the sense that he doesn't want to jump into something half cocked. That's one of the things I like about him. He's very measured in his decisions, and
That's a good trait to have.
It's a good balance for me, because I am absolutely the opposite. I'm the type of guy who can trip standing still. I probably have ADD. I get distracted really easily. Kelly, the Pride and Prejudice, friend of mine, she actually compared me to a golden retriever at one point.
Oh my God.
She said you're like a human golden retriever, and I was like, I feel like I should be insulted, but I kind of like that. But yeah, and I think that's kind of accurate. When my personality comes out and I get excited, I kind of lose control a little bit and kind of go off in every different direction.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish your thought.
But that's kind of a good balance with passion, because he's very deliberate. So whereas I'll have my heads in the cloud, he's really good at grabbing me by the heel and putting me back on on Earth. He's like, all right, okay, because I'll go off and I'm like, this is what I want to do for like book 20, and I've got this idea for the story arc where Amanda Lynn and like this whole thing, and he's like, okay, well we gotta hold on, we gotta do one first. It's like, yeah, all right, you're right, okay, let's focus on that, because I get excited and I just kind of lose track of myself. So
like a kid in a candy shop.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's a kid in a candy shop with too much money, and I don't know where to spend it. So I end up buying way too much and making myself sick. But yeah, it's funny, but that's true. Like, it really is. He balances out my craziness with a little bit of reality, and it made for a really good team. Like, yeah, I think we did a hell of a job on this book, and I think that I think people are going to know, when they're reading it, that we put our all into it.
Definitely makes for a good partnership. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think we laid the foundation for something that we're going to be doing for quite a while.
Oh, good. So, yeah, passion for drawing is one talented person. Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was funny when you were talking about the golden retriever reference. I worked in retail years ago, and one of the guidelines is that we greet a potential customer within 15 or 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So because you don't want to miss an opportunity to make a sale. So I was basically more or less a store manager.
Okay.
Our location, and it was like, as soon as I could be talking to you or giving some training or guidance to one of my employees, and then I'd see from my peripheral vision a customer walking by, and I like jet over it. Even if I'm if I'm mid sentence talking to my colleague, and greet the guest, the customer, and see if I can help them find some awesome stuff to buy.
Right.
And my coworkers would remark, like whenever I do that, it's like squirrel, squirrel.
Like the dog from Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much. Yeah, I mean, I can totally relate to so much of what you're saying because I'm very much the same way. And when I was married, everyone was saying I probably was ADD.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like a blessing and a curse because I can run through a whole bunch of different stuff in my head. But the problem is that the problem is that I never finish anything in my head.
Yeah.
So I really have to work on actually following through on some of the things that I can get focused on because I can lose sight of stuff. But in terms of grave robbers, I've already we're already past the we're in demand past the 60 days, and we're working hard to get it finished. I'm lettering. They'll be finishing pages and then getting them colored, and I'm working on it as soon as they give them to me. We're about, I want to say, probably about between 2/3 to 3/4 of the way through the book, and Passion's telling me that he'll be done probably in the early part of June. But that's not set in stone. Nothing's really set in stone, as I've learned. It's definitely a new experience. It's one of those things that's you don't know how it's done until you do it. I think that's what it is with comic books. The mainstream, they make their books years in advance. So, when you're getting a book fresh off the presses, fresh out of the boxes, when they're opening them up and putting them on the wall, you're looking at something that like I don't know, like John Romita Jr. Finished drawing, a year and a half ago, maybe two, in some cases. So when it comes to this, people are going to be getting this, literally like a month after we're done with it. It's one of those things where, it's a hell of a difference just from the industry to the indie level. But for somebody to be totally new at it, hopping in and getting on it, this has been one interesting experience, and I can't wait to do it again for issue 2. But
absolutely,
we're working hard on it, and I'm super excited for it. It's going to be so cool getting that out to people and seeing them, posting on Twitter about the book and posting, what they think about it. I can't wait to see people's reactions to it because I really think they're going to love it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice. How, when it comes, like, how does what is the process for your, Passion taking your work and converting it into the art? Like, do you literally give them like a couple chapters worth all at once and then he just goes through it, or do you like do it a couple pages at a time? He does roughs, sends it back to you for approval. He proceeds and does most of it and then sends it back to you for approval for finishing touches and stuff.
It's a little bit all of that. Initially, with the original script, we sat down and he read through it. Like I sent him a copy, and he read through it, and then we sat on a hangout, like Google Hangouts again. And for about 2 months, we sat down and we planned every single page and every single panel. He drew basic ideas of what we were going to put down. We literally just were like, all right, well, this is what we're going to do. This is page 1. It starts out, with this cityscape. It's not really a cityscape, but it's like town center. And then, it's going to go into like a tavern. And then we're going to see this guy sitting at a table with a glass in his hand. And then, we're going to see him looking into it, and he's going to be doing this. And, it's like, that's what we would do. And like, he would, as like we would read through it, he would draw every single, panel. And like I said, it was like every Tuesday night. I think it was Tuesday night. We would do that, and we would do it for 3 or 4 hours. And honestly, like, I think that it not only did it expedite the process in a lot of ways, I think that it really gave us both a good idea of what the other person was thinking and where we were at, because we were able to look and say, okay, this is really. What it really did was, I think it gave both of us a handle on it, and allowed us to put down the best book that we could. In a lot of cases, I've heard of artists. Excuse me. I've heard of artists basically being given a script and told to come back later with the art, and I just can't. I couldn't imagine doing that. Like saying, okay, well, this is what I want. Go draw it, and show me what you got. I think that that's probably in a lot of ways how maybe the industry does it. But, with doing it this way, both of us were able to talk about it. We were able to plan it out, and we were able to really like get a book that people are going to like. But not only that, but we were able to create the most badass book that we could. And then after that, basically, we plotted out all 36 pages, and then, he basically went over, finished the pencils, sent me the pencils, and I gave him a thumbs up. He inked them, and then sent me the inks.
Sweet.
And we've just been working our way down. I think we're on page 25 or so. I'd have to look, but we're pretty close. Like, he's working his way through. And I can't remember where Eugene's at. I have to look at this. I've got a whole Excel sheet.
Oh, wow.
Just to keep track, because I'm so scatterbrained that I'll lose track if I don't write it down. So I gotta keep track of it. Well, that's basically the process. After that, I pay him for the books or the pages, and then I send them to Eugene, and Eugene colors them, and then he sends them back, and then I go over them with the I add in the sound effects and the words.
So how did you come across or discover Eugene?
He was
it
suggested to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think Passion. It was I can't remember if it was Passion or if it was somebody else. But I was shopping around for a colorist, and 4 or 5 different people gave me probably 8 or 9 different people to color it. And I just wasn't sure where I was landing. So I started looking at some of the colors, for different people. And, I sent Eugene a message, and I asked him, hey, do you want to do like a test page? I was going to pay him to do a test page just to see what it would look like, And he sent me page 10 back, I think. And I was so blown away by it. Like, he just... On the campaign page, I think you can look on page 10, he has bullets actually breaking through the panel lines. Like, that's what Passion drew. And it looks really cool. But Eugene drew, like, he didn't draw, he colored these lines that trace along the line of the bullet. And like, it shows like a path, but it shows it without being too obvious about doing it. It's like he stepped it up to such a huge level that I was blown. I really was. Like, I honestly, I've said it 1,000 times. I was blown away by his work. I think it was the double page spread, 1415.
he added in Passion had inked in this section of like when Amanda poofs in because she can teleport. She's poofed in and she's surrounded by the clouds. And I basically told Eugene, give it kind of like a sparkly kind of vibe to it. Make it purple, make it like a lighter purple. And he came back with like all of these highlights, and he like colors in like the black and stuff like that. He did some of the most incredible work I can honestly say I've seen in a comic book in a long time.
When you're shopping around for a colorist, is it like you take the exact same inks and you more or less photocopy it digitally and,
Wow.
and just share it with the artist you're interested in, and then ask for commissions based off that very same ink?
Yeah, and you just compare them. I actually didn't have to do that because a lot of the people that were suggested to me are phenomenal colorists. None of them are bad. But when I got Eugene's back, I was so taken with it that like I didn't want to shop around it with anybody else. I was so like he got it. Like he just got it. Like it's the same thing with Passion. Like that's the thing with Passion is that like I would say something and he would put down almost exactly what was in my head. Like he just got it. And it was just like it was copacetic and it just clicked. And the same thing with Eugene. Like Eugene's over in like Europe. I don't know exactly where now that I think about it, but he speaks English obviously, but it's not his first language. But I'll send him these pages and he sends me them back, and it's just like he knows exactly what to put on the page, and he does such a great job with it that I just I couldn't ask for a better colorist, and I couldn't ask for a better penciler and inker. They've done incredible work, and they just, like I said, they just get it. They just get it.
That's cool.
That's the best way to put it.
When you can make a team that jives really well together.
Absolutely. And
how did you? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that people are really going to walk away with a great comic book. I mean, it's beautifully colored. Eugene is just, I mean, he's just done such a great job. I can't describe. It's just something you have to see. He really has done an incredible job.
How did you end up with the honor or the responsibility of doing your own lettering?
It's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. Your boy Zach talks about that a lot. If you're going to write, you should letter too.
Oh, really?
He's mentioned it a few times. I don't think it's like you have to do it, but I remember him suggesting in a video that if you're going to be a writer, you should at least try to be a letterer as well. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'll test my mettle. I'll see where I can go with this, and I think I've done okay. I think I've done all right. I've shown it to some people, and they think that it looks good. I'm definitely still learning, but I think it's going to be pretty solid, and I think that it's going to be. It may not be the best ever, but it's definitely going to be pretty good. I'm pretty proud of my work so far.
Is it one of those cases where you showed your lettering to your wife and your friends?
No, I learned this time because of that I learned that I should be going to other people, with experience, not just people that I like and who like me. My friend Ryan, like, oh no, that looks really good. I really like that, and then I show it to somebody who knows. Like, what is this? What are you doing? It's terrible. Why would you choose that font? It's gonna be way too small. Why would you even bump up the font size?
Oh man, it's like settle down, Beavis.
Exactly. So yeah, it's been a process, but I've gotten the hang of it, I think.
Sweet. Grave Robbers, welcome to Hellhole. Hell yeah. If you haven't yet, definitely back this book. Back it today. In fact, back it now.
Hell yeah.
If you already have a copy, consider backing again. Why not?
Why
It's got
not?
these cool perks.
You could frame one.
Yeah, there you go. Back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times, lady. If you don't have the means right now, or you're just waiting for your next paycheck, before you back it, consider sharing it all over your social media. And, let's get some more eyeballs on this campaign because it deserves it. It's got some real good content, good quality product. Let's check out the video. Nice. Cool.
Hell yeah. Red Gaze was the one behind that one. The guy behind Sunstorm.
I was about to ask. Yeah, that I don't know if that was like considered one of his earlier pieces because it seems like on a lot of his newer trailers he includes voiceover.
He actually brought that up. He asked me if I wanted to do one, and I definitely did. But at the time, I ended up deciding against it. We didn't go with that because I thought that the wordless would be good. I like the art, and I wanted to kind of let that speak for itself. I'll probably go with the voiceover on the second book, to be honest. I don't know if it was the greatest idea to do, to go without the words. I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people have said, they would go with something that was with a voiceover next time. It's not to say that this is bad because it's not. He did a phenomenal job, and I'm super proud of it. But I feel like a lot of people, because I'm not a well-known name in CG, I'm not a well-known creator. A lot of people kind of walked into this not knowing what it was. So, when they were getting a video that was without words and that wasn't explaining what the story was about, because basically when you pop this up, you get grave robbers welcome to hellhole, bullets, blood, and booze. The grave robbers stalk a killer in this horror western epic. People get a good idea based on that, but they don't really know what the story is beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they click the video and they watch the video and it's like, okay, that looks cool, but like, what is this? So being kind of a lower name and not having the name recognition and stuff like that. Next time I think I'm going to go with it just so people can have a better idea of what they're getting into. But as far as the actual content goes, I think he did an incredible job. The music choice was phenomenal.
Yeah, it works well.
He did a great job. But
Yeah,
next time.
It's a minute and 15. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Some people like to keep it 45 seconds to a minute. And yeah, that was a pretty good length, I think. I'm kind of mixed. Sometimes I like voiceovers, and sometimes I think they're better without them and just have music. I guess it really depends on what the story is, I guess, and what the project is. Because I think there are going to be some campaigns that would benefit from having a voiceover, while others I think would be perfectly fine, spitting out, showing some art, spitting out facts, the basics, things like, number of pages, whether it's perfect bound or floppy, and things like that.
Right.
Who the credits of who the artist, writer, letterer are, and whatnot. That kind of stuff. But
Right.
that's a pretty good one. I like that one.
I appreciate that, man. I'm a big fan of WyzGyz. I like his book, Sunsworn. I like his channel. So I was really honored to have him do that video for me.
Did you get a chance to back his campaign?
Yeah, I got the book. It's a pretty cool book. It's it's about I don't want to give a whole lot of it away, but it's pretty cool. It's got like it's like a space opera kind of thing. It's pretty sweet.
Right.
If you had a chance, definitely give it a read. It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to his new campaign.
Yeah.
I've backed that already, and after reading the book, I'm pretty excited for the stories that he's going to tell with this. So
Yeah, because the first one was a full-on novel, right?
Oh yeah, it's like 500. It's a brick, is what it is.
A literal novel, yeah.
Yeah, but it goes by quick. I saw 500 pages and I was getting the Stand flashbacks. But I got pretty excited when I started reading it. It went by fast.
I was reading it on my lunch breaks at work. I usually eat in my car. Like I'll drive off to a parking lot and sit, like, park under a tree. I'll watch a video or something on my lunch break, and then I'll read the rest of it. And I was like finding myself getting late and coming back to work because I was like, oh, I gotta finish this chapter. This is really cool. So I ended up being late a couple of times, but it's still it's a great book if you haven't.
It's pretty neat. He did the novel, and now one of the things I appreciated about it is the font size is pretty decent. So it's being nearsighted, it kind of sucks reading some things because they're hard to read.
Yeah.
And then on his current campaign, he's got a graphic novel version of it.
Yeah.
So he's like continuing the story and everything. So it seems pretty exciting. I like it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. It's going to be pretty cool.
It's going to be pretty cool.
By the way, when you had her do the Grave Robbers logo, is it this portion only or that and the skull?
That and the skull. Yeah, I originally had drawn a skull with the logo that I designed. So initially, I think what she had done was she drew the Grave Robbers, like the font and stuff like that with the bullet holes and the blood running down. But when I sent her the picture that I drew, just to kind of give her a kind of feel for what I wanted, she brought in the skull, and then she brought out like the frilly, like, 1880s kind of Wild West, like frilly stuff on the outside, like the fringes and stuff.
I like that a lot.
So she added that in, and I was pretty excited about it, man. Like I said, I looked at it the second I saw it. I said, "That's the logo. That's it. That's the logo." That's actually going to be on the front cover of the book too, like the skull with the Grave Robbers, and that's actually a sticker that I'm going to be sending out with the book as well.
Yeah, it's a good logo. It's nice.
Yeah. I'm really excited about it.
Dude, stop putting yourself down.
Oh, about the about the video, or about me talking about not being that big.
About everything.
All right, I'll stop.
Snap out of it, man.
I'll stop.
Slap.
Man, Hex is a cool guy. I really like Hex.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah. So you've got this. This is a new edition, or well, actually, now help me out here. Is this Rich Art or is it Reich Art?
Richard, like it's French.
Richard.
I was pronouncing it wrong. I was talking to Sim, and he being a French-speaking Canadian, explained to me the proper way to say it. So
Richard. All right.
Richard, without the T. Like,
so you studied German. I studied French in high school.
Oh, really?
But I wasn't even thinking French when I was looking at the name.
Yeah, the Knights Templar were a French order. They answered to, I think, Louis the 14th was the one who disillusioned the Knights Templar at the end, which that kind of plays into his backstory a little bit. Yeah, and
that's probably why he's got the letter R engraved in his sword.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch. Sim, when he drew that in without me suggesting it, and I thought that was pretty cool. So, yeah.
Does this mean that you might have to edit some of your panels and draw an R in it?
Nah.
All right.
It might just we'll see what happens, but this might just be for the trading card. But
pretty cool.
It's still a pretty cool trading card.
It is. It's a great idea. Good concept.
This head rope thing, like the ropes made of the hair of his victims, actually comes into play in a future book. So I thought that was a nice little thing that people will be able to look back on when they get that book and be like, "Oh crap, that was in this card." So I think they'll like that. There's going to be a lot of Easter eggs that I'm going to be setting up. I think that I think people are going to like, going back and reading previous books to see what's going on in current books. I think people are going to kick out of that. There's a character that appears on one single panel in this book that won't appear for another 7 or 8 issues. And just again, well, I think he might make a couple more appearances, but his story is 7 or 8 issues down the line.
Nice.
Just to, land little Easter eggs so that they can come to fruition in the future.
Sweet. Yeah, that's a good piece. I like it.
Yeah, it's going to be cool seeing that on a trading card. It's going to look awesome. And that comes with every book. So, if you back it, you're going to get that along with the book.
On the backside of this trading card, what are you going to have on it?
It's going to be a little bit of a backstory, another image of Richard, and a kind of a list of the things that he can do, like an attributes list, pretty similar to like a Topps card in the 90s or something like that.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Get this badass Richard trading card with every book you get. 1 book, 1 card. 5 books, 5 cards. Phenomenal art from Sim Poitier. Blood Hunt, Tales from the Natverse. And brilliant colors from Eugene Betiv. Magic Hop 1 and the Lost Pages.
I should probably update that because he's doing the colors on Magic Hop 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah. True.
Yeah.
Good point. Great.
This is something that also is going to come with a book. This is going to be an 8 by 5.5 mini print. Originally, I wanted to have this book out to people in May. Being that this is my first campaign and that I just didn't realize how long it was going to take. It's going to be more realistically sometime in the late summer that it's going to be released and mailed out. So as an apology, I want to do, give something to people as like just to show them that I understand that it's frustrating when books are late and,
you know, it's totally my fault. I was inexperienced. You know, I just didn't plan it out as well as I thought I had. So it's going to be a little late. And like I said, and as an apology, I wanted to give people this as a way to say, you know, I'm sorry for being late, and I'll try to be better when it comes to planning out when these are going to be out. And I hope you can enjoy this, and you know, as an apology. So
Sweet.
it's pretty cool. Again, done by Sim. This time colored by Michael Beacon, or as we call him on the hard line, Thick Cut.
Thick cut.
Thick Cut Beacon. So yeah, it's just a little joke, you know, because his name sounds like bacon. But anyway, yeah. Thick Cut Beacon. Thick Cut Bacon.
All right. For some reason, I didn't catch it.
It's cool. It's cool.
I got it now.
Yeah. So you know, he did a great job on this. You know, I was really, really happy with the level of work that he brought to this. I really like the power coming out of Amanda, you know, with the purple, you know. I thought that looked really cool. So yeah, that's gonna come with every book, and I'm excited to get that out to people too. I mean, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Nice. Just a sec. Coolness.
Oh yeah.
Get a book today and get not only the Richard card, but this 8 by 5.5 inch mini print by Sim Poitier and colored by Michael Beacon, free. Grave Robbers is a fully colored 36-page graphic novel. Did you know from the get-go that you wanted to go full color, or did you spend some time thinking it might be a pretty awesome black and white?
Honestly, I actually did. That thought had crossed my mind. I was actually talking to Passion about this the other night. Me and him were talking about, you know, some of the colors and, you know, his pencils and stuff like that. And I said that I thought that his pencils were really cool, and that this book, if I did it black and white, like an old Western, you know, from like the 40s or something like that, that could be really cool, like an old John Wayne flick.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that people like colors. You know, I think that people like a colored, you know, fully colored book way more than they like a black and white. And that was what tipped the scale for me. Ultimately, it had been way cheaper to do it, you know, black and white. But, you know, I think people want fully colored, well-colored books. And this book is definitely that. You know, Eugene did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I do like full color, but I also am into books that are black and white as well.
Yeah.
There's books like Absolute,
Right.
from Unhinged Entertainment. There's Merry Boys from Chubb.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm looking forward to reading that. I actually didn't back that until a couple of weeks ago. I totally forgot about that book, and he posted something on Twitter, and I was like, man, I totally forgot about this. So I bought it, and it's on its way now. I'm really excited to read that one. It looks cool.
Yeah, and
Michael Derrick, his book Abductables 1 was black and white, and I think Sims Blood Hunt was black and white too.
oh, all right.
Yeah, Blood Hunt was fantastic. That was a lot of fun.
And there was another one I was thinking about too, but
Iron Sights. Did you say Iron Sights?
no, I didn't. But
Yeah, Richard. Yeah, his book is black. Both of those, 1 and 2, are black and white.
oh, okay.
Yeah, Canales did the stuff for both of those, and those are pretty good. Those are pretty good books. So yeah, there's some really solid. And even if you go into like older books like Sin City,
everybody loves Sin City. Frank Miller did a hell of a job with those books.
Sure, absolutely.
So black and white definitely is one of those things where it really does. If you do it right, it can be really good.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, I just felt like it would be better with the colors. And after seeing Eugene's work, I think I made the right decision. So
For sure.
Although I still think about it sometimes of what it would look like. It was like an old John Wayne Western.
Well, don't you still have the ability to do so? Like don't you have like scanned in versions, high quality?
Yeah, I have digital copies of all the pages in black and white.
But, if you ever chose to read.
Yeah, if I ever did like a director's cut or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that could be cool. I might do that on maybe the next campaign, do a black and white variant.
Yeah. And then maybe in the back you might include some behind the scenes stuff, look, snippets of some of your scripts and maybe the original drawing you did for the logo.
That could be a really cool idea.
I love behind the scenes stuff. That's
not a bad idea. I'd have to dig that original sketch out someplace. I don't even know where it's at.
Yeah. When it comes to scripts, I don't know if you'd ever want to do something like this, but every now and then I find a campaign that has a script. And like most recently, Don Chin, he's from Parody Press. And he does the parody comics.
Right, like X-Farce, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
His current campaign is Beard Zerker.
Oh, right. I remember seeing that now. Yeah, I forgot about that book.
So
many books, man.
Yeah.
So many great books out there.
On the X-Farce campaign, yeah, I totally agree. On the X-Farce campaign, he had a tier that had like a couple never seen before scripts or treatments of a couple of the books that were included in the campaign. So I managed to score that tier that had the script.
Nice. That's not a bad idea.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah, that's what that Funeral for a Freak book that I was talking about for Deadpool, where it was all wordless. They actually put in a script at the end. It was a full script of the whole book.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I might do that with book 2, or I might do a black and white for Grave Robbers 1, and then put the script in the back. That could be really cool.
Welcome, Nefarious. Rob them graves.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Hail. Some hellos. Thanks for dropping the links, mods. Yoakum Darkstar says, get this book. Grave Robbers, Welcome to Hellhole on Indiegogo.
Right on.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Good to have you all. Absolutely. Jason Vasco and I were cracking up. Unhinged Entertainment, because I had him on my show again. And we were, his book is called Absolute, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that one.
And I found myself numerous times throughout the stream saying, absolutely. It's like, it's subconsciously ingrained in my head now.
See, what you got to do is you got to get a bottle of Absolute vodka and say
no.
while you're holding it.
Oh, man.
It'd be too much. Is that too much? All right.
Talk about, oh, wow, that'd be wild, wouldn't it? He could do a tier where you get a bottle of Absolute vodka.
There you go. Yeah. Actually, that's something that I wanted to do for Grave Robbers, as I brew my own beer. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and I've made some good ones. But what I was gonna do is I was gonna make a Grave Robbers beer.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, well, the thing is that apparently you can't just sell beer on Indiegogo. That's something you can't really do. because you have to verify that the person's 21, and then on top of it, the shipping, like you have to have a very specific shipping. But I had this idea where I had this bottle and it was going to be like dipped in wax in the end and sealed. It was going to be cool. Like I had this. I was going to make it was going to be a whiskey barrel. It was going to be a whiskey barrel cream ale.
Oh wow!
Vanilla cream ale is what I was going to do. And
Wow.
I made it. I actually made it, and it did taste really good. It's we're still getting through it, but because I make it like 5 gallons at a time.
Okay. All right.
So it ends up making like 60 beers.
What is the alcohol content?
On that one I think it was six and some change. It wasn't more than 6.5.
Okay.
I don't remember. We didn't write it down. We wrote down the gravity and stuff, like the before gravity and the after gravity to get the actual alcohol content. But it was somewhere. It was a higher one. It was in the 6s. Like a Budweiser, I think is like 4.5.
Do you write down all your recipes for these beers so that you can recreate them if you strike something great?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I definitely do. We've made about 4 or 5 different recipes, personally, like ourselves, and then there's probably 10 that we've modified. There's a local place that has pre-made recipes that you can just kind of build off of, but we brought them home, put different malt, and hops and stuff like that into it, different grain. I'm really wanting to do. There's a Japanese rice lager that I really want to try to make. I had one. Do you know what Jungle Gyms is?
Jungle Gyms?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love going there.
Yeah, well, we go there maybe 3 or 4 times a year. I live about maybe a half hour north of that,
and we go and sometimes we'll go through the beer section and we'll just pick up weird beers. And there was a Japanese company that sold a handful of different beers. So we grabbed a couple, and one of them was a rice lager, and I loved the taste of it. So I've been trying to figure out how to make one, but nobody around me has a recipe. So I'm going to have to either make it from scratch or I'm going to have to work with somebody on Google.
Yeah, engineer.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, if anyone's made a version that they like serve in restaurants, you might check out. I think it's called TopSecretRecipes.com.
Okay.
And I guess there are people out there who reverse engineer popular dishes from restaurants. And you'll find things like, how Panera Bread has all those popular soups like the broccoli cheese and the chicken rice.
Right.
It's got recipes for those soups.
I am bringing that up now. I'm gonna see what I can hunt down.
Yeah. So that might be a starting point.
I wonder if they have beers.
A place to try it. Yeah, I never searched myself for beers, but maybe you'll get lucky.
I'll definitely look through it. That sounds pretty cool. I'm already starting to see stuff that actually looks really good that I never considered making at home before.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And that's a good point about the.
But yeah, that was the problem. That's why I ended up not doing it. I think that would have been a really cool idea.
Well, know what? Even if you don't do it through Indiegogo, you could build a website maybe and offer it through there.
I'll try that. I'll look into that and see what I can do, because I think that it's a good idea. I thought about, for one of the campaigns that I'm working on in the future, I've gotten into blacksmithing, and
whoa, what the
it's pretty cool. Like I like to do a lot of stuff, myself. Like I like like to build stuff, and I like to.
Oh my
I've been
God.
trying to get into sculpting too, but that one's a lot harder to do. Blacksmithing is pretty cool. It's warm, but it's cool. The book that I'm writing, the main character has a specific sword, and I thought about actually making that sword. It's a Greek, like an ancient Greek sword. So I was going to make it, and I was going to sell it with the campaign.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, but that's years into the future. Probably, I probably won't be releasing that one for a while.
Let me see. I'm not sure if you'd be interested. I mean, I guess it would kind of depend on how far you get in your blacksmithing. But if you wanted to, 8-Bit Shinobi has a contact or knows of a website or whatever where you can find replica swords. And I don't know if they would make a custom sword, like a commission.
Huh. That's not a bad idea. I'll look into that too.
Another alternative is there are people who go to like the Renaissance fairs.
Yeah.
And that you find on Instagram. They have their profiles, their websites, and they make legit real swords and weapons. So, you'll find blacksmithers there as well. And I think some of them kind of cater to the cosplay community. So if you didn't want a full-on heavy metal sword, then, you could probably find people. Well, you will be able to find people who can make kick-ass lightweight replicas that they could use in their cosplays and stuff like that.
Right on. I'll definitely check that out.
They can cosplay your characters from this book.
There you go. That'd be pretty cool.
In addition to offering the beer through a website, you bypass, you set up your own merchant site. And I guess I was trying to figure out whether Amazon or eBay would be an option, but I'm not sure if they're.
I don't know. That was the biggest problem.
I don't either. That's why I'm thinking if you set up your own website, you can do whatever the hell you want. More.
I might have to.
And then, go ahead.
It's just that when it comes to alcohol, there's a lot of red tape, and that's the biggest problem. Is that when it comes to actually doing it, I would love to do it. I have a friend who runs a brewery, and he's a good friend of mine. He's a cool guy, but he was talking to me about it because I was actually going to do a launch party at his bar. I was going to do a live thing, but with COVID, it kind of ruined it. So I brought it up to him. I was like, what do you think about doing this beer with me? He's like, I wouldn't be able to sell it unless we did it in the bar, like unless it was a Star City bar. Like beer, we wouldn't be able to sell that. So, and it's specifically because like he can't regulate it. He doesn't know anything about it, and if he's selling it in his establishment, it could be in play. There's like a whole thing, that could come with it, and it was just not a good idea. Right. Stuff that I didn't know about, but stuff that he, being a business owner, with that specific business, knew.
He has to be on top of that stuff.
Right. Exactly. Like if maybe there was like a contaminant in it, like I didn't do it right, and I put something in it that was wrong. I don't know. Stuff like that. That can pop up.
As soon as you mentioned contaminant, I had a flashback to one of my old jobs.
Yeah.
Where I used to work in a company that did. They built like flow tubes, and they designed the sensors, so it would measure how many parts per million of foreign matter it found.
Yeah.
You'd have the fluid, whether it be beer or some other liquid or water, and then it would be going through a tube. You'd see like little preview window, but then there would be, electronics, right?
Yeah.
So it would measure parts per million. Yeah. It was one of those kinds of companies. It was kind of interesting.
That is pretty cool.
Welcome, Sugar Chris.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hello. Good to have you.
Absolutely.
See now you've caught on now. Now you're saying absolutely.
There you go.
See,
I gotta get the vodka bottle, man. I gotta say it.
It catches on like wildfire.
There you
go. The other thing is, have you considered, continuing your experimentation on your beers and maybe offering it at the eventual For the Fans Fest?
Maybe I could keg it probably, and I could give it. I wonder what the regulations on that would be.
That would be.
I went to CES in Vegas. Sorry, I'm shifting in my chair and being a giant klutz about it. I went to a Consumer Electronics Show, and God, that had to have been 2011. It was a while ago, but I went out to Vegas and I went to check it out, and there were some guys out there, and they were handing out like Bibles, like mini Bibles.
Okay.
But they were also handing out beers with them because they were like, this would have been the wine of Jesus's day as beer, and I wasn't gonna judge them because it was free beer, and I'm in. If they're handing me a beer, I'll go wherever they want me to.
Well, yeah.
But yeah. So, damn it, Chris.
Yo, Tom. Hope your day's going well.
That's fine. That was the problem.
I'm here to clip Mark whenever he sticks his foot in his mouth.
On his show, I said something that was taken out of context about a certain character in my comic. I'm not going to say his name now because Chris is in the chat, but they sound clipped it, and every time I go on Chris's show, they play it now. So now I got to be careful about what I say.
Oh man. Oh dear.
Yeah, he's a good guy though. I like him. He's always a good time being on his show.
Oh, most definitely.
But yeah, going back to the Consumer Electronics Show, they were just handing out free beer, and I'm kind of interested because if we did like a fan appreciation thing, and I went there and I opened up a booth, I wonder if I could bring a keg of beer and give it out to people.
I would think so because there was. I'm trying to remember back. You talk about going to CES. I went to numerous computer expos because that was my jam years ago. So I'd go to Macworld, Oracle Open World, Seabold, Linux World, and I think it was Oracle Open World. Because huge event, right?
Okay.
So they had a lot of the I guess they had a lot of booths that were like for the mature audiences, I guess.
Okay.
So there was
adult thing.
Yeah, there was this one booth, and I'm pretty certain it had like a full-on counter. I don't remember if it had any stools, but it like had a counter for people to hang at. And behind it, it had like a setup, which, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves, was actually like taps, so they could serve beer.
That's pretty cool.
And so I think it may have had somewhere between 2 and 4, because at conventions, especially back in the day when the tech boom was going, you could get a lot of foot traffic. And, with so many booths to visit and carrying around swag and stuff, People get tired and they want to kick back and relax for a few.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sit
so
down your bag and have a beer.
so occasionally you got booths that served had water bottles and others.
Oh, okay.
Couple that had beer. So the beer was a nice welcome change.
Hell yeah, man.
Usual.
There's just, I don't know what it is, but there's just something great about a nice cold beer. You know, I don't know. Even on a bad day, a cold beer is still pretty good.
I'm not much of a drinker
Yeah.
in general, but I've got to say there's something about a beer after you've spent a day doing yard work and mowing
Oh yeah.
that just, by itself on, when you're not really doing anything but sitting in front of a computer,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like refreshing.
Right.
But after you've been out in the sun and been working hard and doing physical stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it feels so rewarding.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just sitting down, popping it open, and having. It's the same thing with grilling. When you're sitting in your running a grill, there's nothing like a nice cold beer while you're sitting and grilling something. It's just they go together perfectly. It's like peanut butter and jelly, but then it's just meat and beer, I guess.
Is it any wonder that people eventually designed a recipe around putting like a full can of beer, a roasted chicken?
Nope, there was no way that was never. I mean, once canned beer was made readily available, it was only a matter of time.
The crazy things you can make, and then of course you can use it as a marinade too.
Oh yeah, you can do a hell of a lot with beer. Beer's versatile. It's we put it in stews a lot.
Really?
Every winter I'll make right around Christmas time before, when it gets really cold, I'll make a beef stew and I'll use Guinness, or maybe not. It doesn't necessarily have to be Guinness, but a good stout.
Right.
And their tacos, I'll use like Modelo, or I'll use a Dos Equis Amber, and I'll put that in with like chicken or with steak,
Nice.
Give it a little flavor. There's just something good about it. Like it's a good mixture of sweet and bitter. It's just good. Makes a nice good glaze. It's good stuff.
Yeah, when it comes to beer, I usually will drink something like a lager or a Guinness. I like that style of flavor over things like Bud Light and Michelob and.
Yeah, I'm the same way. My stepdad, he drinks Pabst Blue Ribbon, and I'm not huge into it, but every time I go over, he hands me a PBR, and I drink it because it's free beer. And there's nothing better than a free beer.
It's free. I'll drink it.
Exactly. I'm not complaining if it's free.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, especially when you go to a bar and you're being charged $6.
Yeah, it can get out of hand, man. Some of those craft beers are expensive.
Yeah.
Makes you really appreciate a quarter blue Bud Light,
Yeah.
Blues. I don't think those are a quarter anymore, though. I think that's kind of gotten up there in price. Same thing with PBRs. When I was like 20, I guess 21, because I wouldn't be able to drink at a bar otherwise. If I was in yeah, right. That's sneaking in. But when you go in, I remember when I was like 21, 22, they had quarter PBRs, and now it's like you go into a bar and it's like $2 for a PBR. It's like, when the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
I remember PBR was the stuff that people drank, when they wanted to be cheap. Now it's Keystone Light, I guess. So I don't know. I'll drink whatever's in front of me as long as it's free.
Yeah. So we got a classic Western cover by Passion for Drawing.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely has a passion.
Oh yeah. He did a great job. He actually watercolored that.
This is all watercolor?
100%.
Whoa, that's sweet.
Yeah, he talked about doing another cover, a similar cover for the second book, but we haven't landed on exactly what yet. But he's doing he did a phenomenal job on this, and one of the things that we wanted to do was we wanted to replicate the old Western, movie posters, and they put a lot of the scenes and stuff that you'll see in the book or in the movie, I guess, actually on the actual posters. So we kind of did that same thing, but with obviously with the comic instead.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. Some interiors.
Yeah, that's page 10. That was actually the first page that Eugene colored. And he did a great job with it. That was what made me say, all right, this is the guy. I mean, look at the bullets, the trail leading going with the bullets, breaking off through the panels. It just looks so cool.
Did you have to, I mean, did he reach out to you and ask what color her hair is supposed to be, or, tips on what the color layout is, or?
I give him a panel by panel breakdown of all the colors that I'd like to see.
All right.
But when it comes to like the gunfire or like the interior of Waylon's coat or the color of the glass and doors, for example, I kind of leave a lot of that stuff up to him. He's pretty creative, and I think that giving him enough room to be able to create and to have room to build on, really has helped him a lot, or not helped him. It's helped him create a phenomenal book and given him the space to be creative as he'd like. And I think that it's paid off. I mean, again, with the bullet holes, I mean, it looks great. Even with the viscosity of the blood on the next page.
That's a nice touch for sure.
Oh yeah. But like you see the flow of the blood. He did that all on his own. I didn't bring that up to him. He did that totally 100% on his own. And it looks phenomenal. The layers of dust that he put on here, I mean, like I said, I made the right choice when I said, I'd like him to color my book, because he has done an incredible job.
Thanks for dropping the links, mods.
Absolutely.
We got Grave Robbers, Welcome to Hell, and Indiegogo.
But yeah, you look at that last panel, the color of the skin changes from person to person, kind of shows you what's happening a little bit with the the water that's being pulled, like the moisture being pulled out of them.
Man, that's sick.
Yeah. And that's the next page. That's a double page spread. And you see one of those guys that had the moisture pulled out of him, down there in the left corner. He did an incredible job with just the pencils, but the colors, he brought that over too. You see the darkening of the skin of that guy in the last panel, and then it carries over to this. But that guy on the left, you kind of see how his skin's a little darker than the rest of them, and then you kind of pull out, then you see like that same. It's darker, but it's also lighter at the same time. So like it's like colorless, but it's darker. It's interesting. Like he has a subtlety to his colors that is just really phenomenal. But this panel right here this page, this double page spread, is one of the reasons why I compare Passion to Wrightson and Midoriya, because you look at the level of detail that he's put into the wood, just the wood alone.
Yeah, I was checking that out.
Yeah, that's something Wrightson would do, and like the heavy shades with the rafters, with the joists, the ceiling joists going, like he's done a hell of a job. I mean, Passion really put his all into this book, and it shows. I mean, he really channeled write cinema Duria with this. Like he's got an awesome style, and I can't wait to see more grave robbers being done by him, man. I'm really excited for this. Got a good future ahead of this book.
Yeah, I like the attention to detail, the detail in the wood as well. I once did a piece for, I had family who was involved in a small software company, and since I was more or less his son,
Yeah.
he hooked me up, and I was their artist.
Oh, cool.
More or less their main artist. I mean, they had a guy who did like concept work, but he was more of a copy paste kind of guy,
Okay.
rather than actually hand drawn stuff. So I remember one of the pieces I did involved, the interior, like a Western. It was kind of influenced by what is that Western? I think my problem is sometimes I blank out on people's names.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know if it was Stagecoach or I think it was something else. But there was the original movie was, I'm guessing in the 70s. And then they did a remake with, was that actually Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson.
I think it was Mel Gibson. I can't remember now. I'd have to look it up.
Okay.
But I was just using that kind of stuff as reference. And I remember I was trying to focus on doing the wood. But because so much in the West was wood, I was dealing with a lot of browns. And
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how to control that and make them contrast enough to pop. And Eugene did a nice job varying the colors so that it didn't look like it was all one shade of a particular brown.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the great thing is, he's got the darker wood up at the top and then kind of some lighter wood on the sides and then even a different color wood on the stairs and on the banister. But even the tables have a different color kind of wood to them. I mean, he's very talented. I'm very, very happy with the level of detail that the level of work that he's brought to the colors.
Grave Robbers team. Grave Robbers is, oops.
Oh, good call. I gotta fix that. I'm gonna bring up my campaign while you go through this so I can just edit it as we go.
Grave Robbers is written and lettered by Mark Middleton, with stunning pencils and ink by Passion for Drawing, and vibrantly colored. I would add by.
Yes, I'm editing as we go. Don't worry.
Wanted, Big Dick Murphy, and I like the old paper effect.
Yeah, I don't know if he did that himself or if he used a template, but I really, really like these Wonder posters.
And what's cool is it doesn't look like it's black inks. It's like a shade of what is that? Is that a brown or an orange?
It's like sienna or something like that.
The lines, in other words, are not straight up black.
Right.
Because you can compare against the lettering, which is black. So this is somewhere like, did you say sienna?
I just threw out a color. I don't know if that's what he actually used though.
Yeah. Which makes it different and unique, as opposed to someone who might just use straight up black inks.
Right.
This is one of my favorites here.
Yeah, I like this one too.
Mandolin. Oh yeah, that was like a play on words, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. They all are, with the exception of Big Dick
The instrument.
and Richard.
Well, you know, Big Dick is you might say, is an instrument unto itself.
I guess so. With Waylon Louder, that's pretty straightforward too. They're all. I like plays on names. You'll see some more coming up later on in the books. Some characters and stuff. Their names might not be a pun themselves, but they always have like a connection to something, or they're a pun. I don't like to just give characters like random names like Fred, Everett. Like I don't like to just throw out names. I like to give them some sort of semblance of character or story connection.
Yeah, yeah. Man, this is so good. I love this.
Yeah, Preston is wow.
He's
He's one of those guys that just comes out and puts down something badass.
Yeah.
Everything that he does. I don't think I've ever seen anything by him that I really could honestly say I didn't like, because he just puts out some of the most badass pencils I've ever seen. I really love his work.
Yeah.
And Oliver Lee Arcee, I think is how you pronounce that, his last name. I'm not positive, but he did the colors on it, and he did a great job too. So, yeah,
Indeed.
I really like it. That's going to be the back cover of the book.
Nice.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you offer this original artwork available for sale on one of your tiers?
Yeah, that sold. It sold pretty quick. So I was kind of sad to see it go, because there's a part of me that wanted to buy it myself.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm happy to send this out to somebody. I hope they really enjoy it.
How much was that tier again?
I think it was 400.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah.
Preston's work, holy cow! He's like it with his quality. Man, you can really ask for quite a bit.
Yeah, that dude's really cool. He actually did 2 sketch cards as well that I sold. They sold out pretty much immediately. I put those on the campaign. I announced that they were on there, and they were sold. People love his work, and for a good reason too. He's really, really good.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, he's kick-ass. There's the logo, which is pretty sweet.
Oh
I
yeah.
like it a lot. Three bounty hunters with terrifying supernatural abilities hunt a satanic killer who has left a trail of mutilated bodies in his wake. But what else lies in this small mining town, creeping in the shadows and waiting to strike? The parched town on the edge of the Arizona territory is brimming with an evil that has never stained the hallowed grounds of our world, and it is anxious to boil over. Follow Big Dick Murphy as he leads Amanda Lynn and Waylon Louder through blood, guts, and murder in this gore-slathered slaughterhouse.
I had a lot of fun writing that. I had a lot of fun listening to you read it too.
Stretch goals at 5K. The Richard trading card unlocked. All backers receive the Richard trading card with their books. At 6K, the Grave Robbers skull sticker achieved. All backers receive a skull logo sticker with their books. Sweet. 6,500, Grave Robbers soft cover achieved. All books will have the soft touch cover.
Oh yeah, we just hit that one the other day too.
So what did it start with? Regular perfect bound, like a glossy finish?
Yeah, I was gonna do a glossy cover, or a matte color or cover, excuse me. But I've gotten a lot of those soft touch covers, and they're pretty nice. Magic Cop, I think, did it. Doomfade did it. I'm having a hard time thinking of another one, but there are a few others that have done it, and I really liked it. So, I was like, you know what? If people like it, I'll do it. So, I put it up there as a stretch goal, see if I could sell them. And I've gotten there. I'm at 6,500, so I'm really looking forward to getting that soft touch cover. Getting that out to people. It's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, they're nice. I'm proud to put it on my book.
Oh man, I was using the word again. Absolutely. Yeah, so that's pretty sweet.
I didn't want to make it like a full $1,000 stretch goal though. That's why I put it as a 6,500, because it didn't feel like it was enough to like push it to 7,000. Because I didn't think people would like it that much. So I thought, let's put it halfway there, and I'll get something out to people that they'll like. Because it's all about what people want anyway. So
Oh yeah.
let's tack on as much stuff that we can to get out to people, because at the end of the day, it's about the reader. So
Yep. This is a tangent, but when you brew your own beer, do you put them in cans or bottles?
bottles. Canning is a lot harder than bottles. Basically, what I do is I have a Klarstein brewing kettle, and I put the water in, and I put the malt, the ground. I grind my own grains.
Whoa.
And you put that in, and then you let them kind of soak, and suck out all of this, like the sugars. And then once you've done that, you pull that out and you boil it for a little while, and then you put in your bitter, like your hops. That adds some bitterness to it. But once you're done with that, you add some more water. Actually, I might have skipped a step. You add the water and then you add the hops. Sorry, it's been with COVID and stuff like that. I haven't been working on it too much. I've been focusing more on the book and some other stuff. But then you do that, and then once you get like the hops, you get that flavor out, you pull them out. I have a special strainer that keeps the hops from getting into the beer, because nobody likes to have like chunks of hops, in their beer. So I get that out of there, and then you let it ferment for a few days. Sometimes depending on, like, a lager takes a couple of weeks to get it correct, because you have to start it at like 30, 33, and then you slowly let it raise to like 45 after you pitch the yeast, which is just adding yeast to it so it can actually transfer the sugars into alcohol. With like an ale, you don't have to do that, so it takes a lot less time. And then from that point, I just funnel it in. I have a special device that I sit in the actual bottle. And when I press down, it just fills from the bottom up. It fills it with beer, and I just do that for each bottle until it's all done.
Well, the whole reason I mentioned that question is you might consider either for like behind the scenes on your website, or for the Fans Fest or whatever, partnering with Phoenix Animation.
Okay.
He does bottle openers, the kinds you see in restaurants.
Cool idea.
So you could have the branding of your book on, bottle openers, the flat ones. So
that's not a bad idea. I might look into that.
Yeah,
that's a cool idea.
It'd be a good pairing, I think.
Yeah, I'll look into that. Let's see what I can do.
So at 7K, which we're getting close to, we got the Amanda Lynn art print.
Right.
All backers receiving an 8 by 5.5 inch mini print of the Amanda Lynn piece by Preston Acevedo and colored by Oliver Lee Arce. And after that is 8,000 Road to Hellhole short story. 5-page short story will be added, boosting the total page count to 41 pages.
Right.
I like the longer books.
Yeah.
10K false dichotomy short story. 3-page short story will be added, boosting the total page count to 44.
Yeah. That story, the first, obviously, is it's like a prequel to the book. But the second story is unrelated. It's actually kind of like a science fiction-y kind of thing. It's unrelated. It's like cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving. It's a little bit of something else to kind of keep the palate clean and not overdo it.
Well, I definitely need that. 3-page count to 44, and then a 12K, the Gaunt short story, introducing Gaunt, Ferryman of Soul short story, a new character within the Grave Robbers universe. I meant to ask, passion for drawing, traditional artist, digital artist, or both?
Both. The pages that are for sale are all digital. I'm sorry, they're all traditional. But the rest of the book is digital.
All right.
Yep.
Oh, oops, wrong direction. Let's jump to the top. To the top. By the way, if you have not already, hey, knock it off. What do you mean, ew?
No science fiction for Chris.
Cranberry sauce rocks. Grave Robbers is in demand. Be sure and back the book. If you've already backed it, thank you so much for your support. But consider getting another copy. There are a lot of great tiers left. Back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady.
Oh, yeah.
If you are not in the position to or don't have the means yet to pick yourself up a copy and back it, then consider sharing it all over your social media. Share the campaign, share the stream URL. Let's get more eyeballs on it.
I like the sound of that.
All over social media.
Oh, yeah.
On the perks, I always love and appreciate whenever there's a feature tier. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this looks like right now the main book, the standard cover.
Yep. It comes obviously with the trading card and the 8x5.5 mini print and the sticker. Anytime you back a book, you get all those things. Yeah, I wanted to go with something a little simple for the featured tier. A lot of people have told me that they usually go with something a little bit more like my second tier that I have. The second tier being a 2-book kind of deal. Basically to give like incentive to back the book. But again, like with the video, not being a very big name and kind of being new to the scene and everything, I didn't want people to be intimidated by having like a pretty big price tag on the book. So I went with like $18 for the book, and I put that as the featured. So that said, I'm probably going to do it differently on the second campaign. But yeah.
And then we've got the pick a character head sketch.
Right.
So how big is a head sketch?
I believe Passion said it was going to be 8x11.
Oh, yeah. All right. On like a Bristol board or?
I think it's Bristol board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool deal. Is it actually going to be on the material that resembles? Wool? All right.
No, that was just I was just using the characters as a way to give something more than just like text, and that's it.
Right.
So
that's a pick a hit character head sketch. There's only 42 to go. 42 left.
Yep. And you can actually get that as an add-on to a comic as well. And there's no shipping on the pick a character either. So
should be able to fit with the book.
Right.
Retailer pack, 5 comics. 75 USD.
Yep.
Pretty good deal. So you basically get the first cover issue. Let me see here. Hold on. All right. So that one's the trading card. That one is the print, mini print.
Right.
All right. Oh, the retailer pack, 5 comics. So you get the standard cover, 5 of them.
Yep.
That's
And
not.
5 of the trading cards.
Oh, right. So does that mean you also get 5 of the prints and?
5 of the stickers.
All right.
Oh yeah. Same thing with the back too. You get 2 of everything.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
How many stickers are there? Is it like a baggie full of with like 3 or 5 stickers or something like that?
Oh, it's it's just the skull logo.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You
I
get
thought you were asking me how many of those I needed to get printed.
no.
Yeah. It took me a second to realize what you were asking me. Sorry about that.
No. It's all good. I wasn't clear. And then we've got the original page art. So there are actually physical pages. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing they're 11 by 17.
I believe so, yes.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's the standard.
Yeah.
There's only 3 of these left. We've been selling quite a few of them. We sold out of the double page.
Oh, wow. You did?
Yep. I was pretty sad to see that one go too because I had considered buying it. But it's like I said with that, with the Amanda Lynn, I'm happy to see somebody enjoy it. So I'm not complaining too much. But that said, with the 6 pages that we are selling, it's all going to be action pages. They're not going to be any it's not going to be like 2 people sitting and having coffee, kind of pages. It's not going to be a lot of like black shading or not doing anything. They're going to be pages that people would want to display and show, cool stuff, reveals, stuff like that.
You mean to say that you don't have a chance to get a double page spread of talking heads? Position,
Exactly.
Barely moving. What the hell, man?
Man, this isn't a Marvel book. I don't know. We've got 3 of those left. So if you're wanting to pick one up, they're free shipping on those too. So
oh my gosh, really?
Oh yeah. So if you want to pick one of those up, go for it. We've got some great art coming. So
nice.
And we'll send you an email with the pictures, and it's going to be images of the pages, and it'll be first come first serve.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But they're all going to be great pages, so don't worry.
Grave Robbers is going to be a good one.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
How much food talk is in here?
More beer talk. It seems like it's been. We've been talking about a lot of beer.
I wasn't sure if he was referring to in this conversation, this promo stream, or in your book.
Oh, in my book? Oh.
Especially since we're talking cranberry sauce now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. It's going to be mostly turkey if it's a Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
I'll say that's action. We'll say it's turkey is the action.
Or if they happen to be referring to some jive turkey.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
This is one of my favorite parts about Indiegogo campaigns. You get to see the pieces that sold out, that the tiers or perks that sold out, because it's a reminder of what you missed out on. And at the same time, it also kind of reinforces, hey, next time they come out with a campaign, they're going to have these awesome types of tiers. So you better not lollygag.
That's true. We actually had some sketch cards. These were sketch cards that were done by Preston, and I was really, really excited to have those. They, like I said, they sold out pretty quick, but Passion did a handful of sketch cards for it too, and those sold out pretty quick. those aren't on here anymore. I took them down just because there were so many of them.
No, so,
But-
you basically had them spread out, right?
Yeah, I wanted to have like actual pictures of what people were going to be looking at, what they would be buying. So I think he did 8 or 6. I can't remember, but regardless, there were quite a few of them. So I wanted to put that out there, and but like I said, I took them down when they sold. So there would be a lot more otherwise.
Yeah,
but yeah, we're gonna be doing more sketch cards here soon.
Oh, nice.
I think he's done another 4. I want to say.
Wait, who?
Passion. I think Passion's doing another 4. I talked to Sim. Sim was wanting to do 4 as well. We'll see where that goes. I'll talk to Sim about it. But yeah, we've got more coming. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that.
That's exciting. One of the things that some campaigners do is once they have the sketch cards in hand, they'll like either put them side by side or kind of loosely arrange them, and then take a picture of the grouping, and then list that as a single per tier, and then and then at that point, you say there are 3 sketch cards total, and then the counter down below right here will say how many out of 3, and then you'll still be able to see what the image looks like on the sketch card, but it's a way of combining them all in a single per tier, and then at that point you decide whether or not you want to make it first come first serve in terms of being able to pick specifically which one you want, or if you want to go random.
Okay. I didn't know that. I will definitely look into doing that when I go to put out these new sketch cards, because I took an individual picture of every single one of those, and I put an individual tier for every single one of those sketch cards.
I mean, it worked.
It was just a little tedious, but if I could get around doing the work, I'm lazy. I'll definitely do that. That sounds a lot easier.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense, and then just like you have the control of how many original page arts there's a total of 6. So
right,
this got a counter. You'll be able to do that for trading cards too.
Okay.
Waylon Preston Acevedo sketch. So the Waylon one also sold.
Oh yeah. I think that was actually the first one that sold. I was pretty shocked by that. There's been a lot of Waylon love going on. It's I was pretty impressed. People seem to like that character a lot. I didn't think people would respond to him the way they have, but they seem to like him quite a bit. It's cool. I'm not saying it's bad. I think it's great that people like the character so much. I'm a big fan of Waylon too. I like his character
for sure.
I was kind of writing him as a.
If you're a fan of Firefly, he's a lot like Jane Cobb, the good guy that's pretty much a bad guy. So yeah. He's a good character though. He's cool.
I like it. I like seeing the enthusiasm.
Nice.
Hail.
Hey, weren't you on here earlier?
He might have stepped away.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Got some wrestling to watch.
Yeah, really. Sugar Chris says only 4. Sim will have that done while he's eating lunch.
Yeah, Sims, he's quick, man. He's good.
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah, I've seen him on streams, and by the time the stream is like halfway through, he's knocked out 3 or 4 or more.
Yeah, that dude knows how to do it.
Hail Ace. Hail Edwin. Waylon is awesome.
Hell yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Let me see here. So over here. Oh, good. You've been keeping people updated on the progress of your campaign. That's important. 17 days ago was your last update.
Yep, I'm going to be sending out another one here in the next couple of days about the new sketch cards and the crossing the $6,500 stretch goal. So
Sweet.
definitely keep an eye out for that. We're gonna be rolling on, man. We've got some good stuff coming out. So
Awesome. Yeah, if you haven't already, be sure and back Grave Robbers. Welcome to Hellhole.
oh yeah.
Stay a while and listen. And if you've already backed it, back it again. Why don't you? Some good tiers left. Back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady. And if you don't have the means to do so just yet, consider sharing this all over social media. You can share his campaign link. You can share my stream. You know, whatever your heart desires. Back it today.
Oh yeah.
Let's go ahead and play this trailer once more. And then we'll start wrapping things up, bringing it to a close.
Sounds good.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Right on.
It's good stuff.
We'll do a final refresh. You're at 6,500. You're now at 6,573.
Oh yeah, man. That's
All right,
awesome.
41 backers. Nice. And would you remind us once again roughly when you anticipate starting fulfillment?
Looking at late summer, probably in August, early August.
Have you already ordered, or do you already have in your position all the like the mailers and stuff like that?
I've got the mailers. I'm starting to get the trading cards and the mini print. I think there's 4 trading cards that I'm getting. There's the Rotting Golem, Big Dick Murphy, Richard, and nope. I guess that's it. I guess I have the 3. For some reason, oh, it's because I'm doing the mini print. That's why I was thinking 4. But yeah, I'm getting those back. I'll be getting those back sometime soon. I'll definitely send out an update with those in them, with pictures of them to show people. But yeah, we're still working on the book a little bit. We don't have a lot to go. We've got maybe a 4th left. It's gonna go quick, and hopefully we can get this out to people as soon as possible. It's gonna be probably, like I said, maybe August, early August. I'm hoping for late June though, or I'm sorry, late July.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Is there by chance anything I may not have covered that I might have missed that you wanted to share?
Nope. No, I think we were pretty thorough. I mean, we went through it all, man.
All right. Right on.
Oh yeah.
I want to give you the floor. Would you share with the world how you can be found on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at Mark Makes Comics with an X. You can find me on minds.com at MF Comics. And yeah, Grave Robbers is live on Indiegogo. So we're in demand still. So if you haven't given it a shot yet, definitely give it a back. We've got, free trading card, free mini print, free sticker. It's good to go. We're rolling. So definitely give us a shot, man. It's gonna be a cool book.
Yeah. Right on.
Right on.
As usual, all my social medias and just about every one of my stream descriptions. So check me out there. Please like, comment, subscribe, mark the bell for notifications. Be sure to mark all notifications, so hopefully you get every stream and video. And I wanted to extend some thanks to everyone in chat. Later, everybody.
Later, man.
Thanks for hanging out in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to everyone who watches this on replay.
Absolutely.
And thanks to our very special guest, Mark Middleton.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's been a good time.
Hope to have you on again.
Hell yeah.
All right. Take it easy, all. Have a great night, and see you on the next stream.
Later, guys.
Final guest that is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube sensation. WyzGyz. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.